dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
This week marks the halfway point. The NFL season, folks. Halfway as much you can have a halfway point in 17 games. And there's a big Sunday afternoon matchup between Green Bay and Kansas City. Well, FanDuel's about to make it even bigger. Joe Rexler here to let you know. FanDuel giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. This means you can win $150 on a $5 bet. This game in particular, I think I'm liking the Packers, although I also would not bury the Chiefs yet. I'll tell you what. Whatever you do, do it on FanDuel Sportsbook. It's a #1 rated sportsbook app in America. It's easy, it's safe. The payouts are fast in as little as 2 hours. See for yourself. Sign up with promo code Joe102 before Green Bay takes on Kansas City. You can win $150. You can win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember, promo code Joe102 so they know I sent you exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
The St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series Nashville returns to the Music City, November 18th through 20th. You don't have to be a runner to enjoy the excitement of Nashville's premier downtown race. Come help your community as well as the thousands of runners by volunteering. With over 1,000 positions available, there's a spot for everyone. Head to NashvilleSports.com for more information and get a free t-shirt when you register to volunteer. We'll see you there.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as the Predators take on the Dallas Stars Wednesday the 10th. Puck drops at 7:30, but the party starts at 7 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
What's up, everybody? This is Teron Davenport, and I am here to tell you about Freedom Tire Guys. They're Nashville's premier mobile tire service. New tires, rotating, balancing, flat repair, torquing, they do it all. I can tell you this from personal experience. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the Titans facility. They came there and changed my tires, all 4 of them. They did an excellent job. My car is riding extra smooth now. If you're in need of tire service, be sure to check them out at freedomtireguys.com. If you don't see the tires you want, they'll go ahead and get it for you.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It is a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Good to be back on a Fireball Hot Take Friday.
We missed you last Friday.
I know. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
Outstanding.
Love to hear it.
Today, Ian, how are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Okay. We have got a loaded show today. And it was funny. I don't know how. I don't know if you guys do this. Do you guys search on your phone? Like, do you guys go back and, will put certain phrases in to look for a specific text from a specific time, and the specific text comes up, and then you click it and you read it, and then it's like, whatever?
Yeah, I've done that before.
Ian, do you do that?
I have done that before.
Okay. So I don't even remember what the specific thing was. For some reason, I think it was about Frank Reich. I can't remember. But I was searching for a text, and a conversation between me and the GM came up. And I just kind of clicked it, and I just started scrolling up with the text.
Fun nostalgia.
Old conversation with Floyd and I from a couple years ago. And you have actually seen part of this conversation before, Caroline.
Oh, okay.
And it was December. Hold on, I've got it because I screenshotted it, and I sent it to somebody today. And I will just pull it up for you guys. This was December 23rd, 2018. So 3 years ago.
Okay.
And, Ian, you will remember my obsession with the Titans playing on Sunday Night Football, something that they did not do between 2009 and the very, 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 very second to last day of 2018.
Loved it.
Just every day we talk about how could the Titans get on to Sunday Night Football.
Get some national TV up there. We want it.
I just wanted them to be on Sunday Night Football. It's all I wanted. And in fact, in 2016, there was a chance, had the Titans not gone to Jacksonville and lost, that they would have put the Titans versus the Texans on Sunday Night Football, winner in, loser out. And I was just thinking about, Sunday Night Football, and if you all remember the GM, he didn't care about TV. In fact, when somebody in his family was talking about the Bills win a couple weeks ago, they said, he would have loved, Monday Night Football. He didn't care about that, or at least that's how he made me think, that he didn't care about Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football and 3:30 kickoff with Joe Buck or Jim Nance. He didn't care about that. He used to tell me, the only time I pay attention to the announcers is when I show up at the game. And I'm like, you got to have more fun with life than that, right? Surely you got to have more fun in life, right? So anywho, this conversation from Sunday, December 23rd, 2018, was when the Titans had knocked off whomever it was that they had to beat in order to get a winner-go-home game with the Colts in Week 17 of the 2018 season. For some reason, I can't remember. I think they beat Washington like the day before, and I think the Steelers lost to the Saints the next day. And I said to Floyd, let's go, in all caps. Playoffs start Sunday. Please tell Sal and the kids Merry Christmas from me. Floyd said back, and Happy Holidays to you. Then I can tell the moment that the Titans-Colts game got flexed into Sunday Night Football, because in all caps, I sent game on Sunday Night Football with a bunch of exclamation points. Floyd responded with, quote, "You just wet your pants." To which I said, "I am so happy." He replied, "And I'm happy for you."
And that text is my favorite decoration in the Green Hill studio.
It is true. When Floyd passed away, my friend Lily got me a framed picture of the Floyd Reese text in which he said, "You just wet your pants," which I have hung over a bathroom downstairs in my house. But this all goes back to how jazzed up I used to be for Sunday Night Football and the Titans being on Sunday Night Football. Today, I was looking at the week slate, trying to see, okay, who plays who and how could this affect the Titans and what's the seeding like, and, that looks like a good game, and then they're probably going to win that game, and, whatever. And I'm looking at the schedule like, who's the Sunday night game? I'm like, what's the Sunday night game? I'm like, duh, Titans. And I think that this is a microcosm of the week that we've had. There was so much energy and so much pressure on the Indianapolis game. We talked about it at length. You win, the division is practically yours. You lose, it's a dogfight for the division. So there was a lot of pressure and a lot of fan energy and a lot of fan anxiety on the Indianapolis game. Titans won the Colts game. I think all of us were on cloud nine Sunday afternoon, and all of us just sunk to the bottom Monday morning with the Derrick Henry news. And since the Derrick Henry news has come out, all of the discussions have been about, when's Derrick going to come back? Is Derrick going to come back? TD said, and this was the one thing that worried me yesterday, that he says that Adam Schefter's sources are in the Titans organization, and Adam Schefter is convinced Derrick Henry's not coming back. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, no. Because I thought Schefter's represented by CAA. I believe Derrick Henry is represented by Jimmy Sexton, who's also CAA. So I was hopeful that that was coming from Derrick's people. But TD says he thinks Schefter's people are with the Titans. And if the Titans don't think Derrick's coming back, then to me that means Derrick's not coming back. And to me, that's a season ender if Derrick doesn't come back. So there's all this talk about Derrick. Then they bring in Adrian Peterson, and there's a lot of talk about Adrian Peterson, and I think it's fair. I mean, I don't think that – I saw Adrian Peterson's dad told the Tennessean, hey, he's still AD. I'm not so sold on that. I'm going to have to be convinced that he's still AD. And by the way, Adrian Peterson's dad might be a little biased.
And what's going on with everyone's dads getting involved with football these days?
Dads have always gotten involved
Odell's
with
dad,
Dads
Adrian
have
Peterson's dad.
From the
Get out, Dad.
That is the, that dads have always gotten involved.
That's true.
And so I'm not surprised by that. But I'm sure the Tennessean reached out to Adrian Peterson's dad anyways. But he says he's still there. I don't know about that. And then I was thinking today, I'm like, what about the game? What about the game on Sunday? We have not even talked about the game on Sunday. In a normal week, we'd be talking about the Rams on maybe Tuesday, definitely Wednesday. But it's been such a wild week for the Titans because of the Derrick Henry news that it has all been about, kind of the long-term outlook. And the reason why I don't think there's been a ton of energy surrounding the Titans-Rams game is because I believe that most Titan fans feel like me. Now, I'm smart enough to know that I don't always have the most popular opinion. I'm also smart enough to know that I can look at the listenership of this radio show and tell that a lot of you people like hearing the unpopular opinion, I guess. And so I am of the opinion in this game that the Titans literally have nothing to lose, that I am not expecting the Titans to beat the Rams, that I'm not even sure exactly how the Titans can beat the Rams, that after the week the Titans have been through and the 3 games they've already won, I don't want to say I don't care if the Titans don't beat the Rams, but I kind of don't. I think that we should all flip on the TV on Sunday, and as long as Tannehill does not get hurt, I think we can walk away from that and say, hey, I feel good about the Titans. And I know it's crazy because there's only 17 of these a year. We live and die by every single one of them. This is not Major League Baseball with 162. When the Titans got housed by Arizona week 1, an Arizona team that we didn't know was this good, we all panicked. We spent days talking about it. We spent days getting ready for it. We spent days talking about it. I mean, we were all over the place. And yet this Rams game, I have a buddy of mine at the gym. And I think he is essentially a guinea pig for radio conversation. I walk into the gym, I see him every day. And he is a diehard Titan fan, season ticket holder, Preds fan, college football fan. And I mean, to me, he's a representation of the audience. This one guy represents all of you for sometimes how I decide to go with topics. Because if I got a topic and I wonder how it's going to start, I walk into the gym and I'm like, hey, what do you think about such and such? Every time. And there are some reactions I get that I'm like, 2 o'clock topic. I walked in the gym today and I was like, so how do we feel about the game Sunday? He looks at me and he goes, I mean, just get out of there healthy. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't. But I just want to get out of there healthy. Wonder when Fulton's coming back. And I was like, that's how I feel. This Rams game, look, I'd love for the Titans to beat the Rams on Sunday Night Football. I'd love for the Titans to go in there and Tannehill throw for 289 and AJ have a $110 and Jeremy McNichols get 60 on the ground and Adrian Peterson get 45 and the Titans control the game from start to finish and tip a ball in the air and intercept it and take it into the end zone and one of those feel-good wins. And we've seen it. We've seen the Titans win games they have no business winning. Now, we haven't seen the Titans win games without Derrick Henry in 4 years, but that's okay. It's possible. I'm excited. I'm going to watch. I'm going to host the pregame show. Maybe there's a chance they win. But it's like last week, it was almost like a crime if they lost that game to Indianapolis. You lose that game to Indy, and it all comes down. You beat Indy, on you go. This week, it's like, if you beat the Rams, whoop-de-freaking-do. You lose to the Rams, move on to the Saints. Now, the Saints, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, that's a winnable game. Got to start thinking about winning that game. Saints, got to find a way to win. Patriots, got to find a way to win. Steelers, got to find a way to win. The rest of the schedule, got to win. This game, nah. And it's crazy because I love Sunday Night Football. And Sunday Night Football usually, especially for this team, Sunday Night Football is the only real opportunity that this group is going to have to get to show who they truly are. They'll play a Thursday night game against San Francisco, But I don't know about you guys. I kind of weaved in and out of the Thursday night game last night. And I think a lot of people do weave in and out of Thursday night football. And we know it's on a Thursday. So we know the quality is not going to be as good as Sunday. Sunday night football, that's the game everybody watches, especially when it's two contenders. Thursday night, we had the Jets last night. When it's two contenders, Titans, Rams, that's a game everybody watches. And so normally, I'd be looking at this thinking, hey, this is Sunday night football, primetime audience, two big-time contenders, so much on the line, and yet I don't feel that way about Sunday's game. I think it's because Derek's out. Maybe it's because they beat the Bills, Chiefs, and Colts. But I look at this game and I'm like, hey, the Rams ought to kick the Titans in the rear end. The Rams ought to win this game handedly. I think the Rams will win this game. Maybe not handedly, but I think the Rams will win. And on you go to the Saints. And if they lose, as long as Tannehill stays healthy, there is nothing that could bring me down off of how I feel about the Titans. And I know it sounds crazy because it's Sunday night football. And as you could tell from that 3-year-old text exchange, the GM doesn't care about Sunday night football because, he had been to the Super Bowl. He had been with the Patriots where they played on Sunday night football every week. But I cared about Sunday night football because the team that I covered, the team that I grew up rooting for, never got the national love. And yet here's Sunday night football, and I'm kind of shrugging it off. And maybe some of it's, too, because does anybody around the country expect the Titans to win this game? You just lost Derrick Henry. They think for the season because the bottom of the ESPN screen told them that. I just kind of think the Titans are going in there Sunday. And I think Vrabel's going to coach them up and, motivate them. And, hey, doesn't matter what they say. We're going to go get them. But I think the reality is I think most people around the country think, hey, Titans are a decent team. They just lost the best player in the NFL. They're not going to win Sunday. That's how I feel about the game, and that's how I think a lot of Titan fans feel about the game, which means that Sunday, no matter what happens, again, as long as Tannehill stays healthy, I think we can all enjoy ourselves, win or loss. What do we think? 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Do you have any expectations for Sunday Night Football? That's our question we're starting off with. Caroline Fenton on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Do you?
The only thing that I'm really looking for here is just stay healthy because this Rams team is very, very impressive. And, if we want to go ahead and say the Titans, it doesn't really feel like they're competing for the number 1 seed anymore without Derrick Henry, then this game virtually doesn't matter. You have a really nice cushion in the AFC South. Keep your players healthy, especially a team that's been riddled with injury all season. I really don't have any expectations. I'll be thrilled if the Titans win. That's another win on the schedule. That'll make your record look even better. That'll help your odds in the end. But if you don't, what are you really losing? I think the biggest thing here is keep every single player healthy.
Let's get you going. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Now, I will say I don't play football scared. So, I'm putting Tannehill out there, and I hope Tannehill's okay. Mm-hmm. But you don't play football scared. There are some guys who are already out for the Titans, one of which scares the death out of me in this game, which we'll get to coming up next. And one other element about this game, to Caroline's point about how much it matters, there is another element to this game that I would be thinking about if I was Mike Vrabel. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025. The game we're delivered by TriStar Moving on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Let me tell you about my friends at Boll & Branch. It is never too early to start thinking about the holidays. In fact, a lot of people do the most traveling with their family in time for Thanksgiving. So maybe you're getting your gifts, and now is the time to get people the best gift you can give them, which is a great night's sleep. I can back this up because I sleep on Boll & Branch sheets. We spend a third of our lives in bed, so the pure organic cotton sheets from Boll & Branch make a truly special gift. They make the highest quality sheets by doing things the right way and not the easy way. The gift everyone wants is a better night's sleep, and that's why you can get this for your loved ones. That's right. They love sheets. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge, thinking about sheets guy, but now that I slept on these Boll & Branch sheets, if you gave me sheets, I would probably, and I didn't know about how great they were, like I'm telling you they are, I would probably look at you and be like, you got me sheets? And then after sleeping on them, I'd be like, thank God Caroline got me these sheets. That's how much I love my Boll & Branch sheets. Husband and wife team Scott and Missy Tannen founded Boll & Branch to create a new standard in bedding by doing things the right way, not the easy way. Treat yourself and your loved ones to the new standard in bedding from Boll & Branch. Their gifts come wrapped and ready in their special holiday packaging. Order by December 19th for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Get 20% off your first set of sheets with the promo code JARED, J-A-R-E-D, at bollandbranch.com. That's B-O-L-L and branch.com. Promo code Jared. See site for details. Exclusions may apply. So the 20% off is my gift to you. Those are Boll & Branch sheets.
It's game day in Nashville.
He's in a cross in front, and Saros made a huge stop. Wow, what a save.
The Predators look to return to the win column against the Vancouver Canucks. Pre-game at 8, face-off at 9 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health, if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
This game's gonna be good.
Definitely.
Loser buys?
Sure.
Hey, 2 Dos Equis on this guy.
The game hasn't even started.
And yet, somehow it's already over.
Okay.
A dose of certainty. Brought to you by Dos Equis, proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Magic question?
Evans, Davis, Blasingame, and then a lot of other moving parts, so stay tuned.
There you go. Mike Vrabel today tells you Rashawn Evans out, Nate Davis out, Kari Blasingame out for the Titans Sunday night against the Rams. Now, I think the average fan would look at that and think, okay, Simmons, questionable, didn't practice it. Maybe he plays Sunday night. Julio Jones, maybe he talked to the media today. Maybe he's healthy. He plays Sunday night. But those three on a normal week, your right guard, one of your 3 best middle linebackers, maybe your second best, I don't know, but definitely not your best, and fullback are out for the game. And you would think, Okay? Like, keep on trucking. This team's lost tackles, wide receivers, you name it. I hear that Nate Davis is out, which Mike Vrabel said with a concussion, Nate Davis out. I'm scared because now I'm thinking about Dylan Radins, who went in the game for Nate Davis last week against Indianapolis. I believe either allowed a sack or allowed Derrick Henry to get tackled in the backfield. I can't remember. The Indy game feels like it was 37 days ago. I can't remember which happened, but Radins whiffed on a guy. I mean, it looked like Chance Warmack on that play, and whatever bad happened. Well, now he's got Aaron Donald. And I'm just telling you, if I'm the LA Rams and I see Dylan Radins, number 75 out there, a guy we know the Titans don't want to put in the game, and I see him out there, I am putting number 99 right on him. Like I'm saying, all right, we're going to take our second best pass rusher, I guess Von Miller. I don't know who their second best would be, but I'm putting him right next to Aaron Donald. And I am putting 99 on top of 75. And I am saying, you go hit 17. And I don't feel very good about that. And the one thing that cannot happen on Sunday Night Football is that under no circumstances is number 17 allowed to get hurt. Titans might as well. You know those like red jerseys they sell, those red Titans jerseys they sell, which should be their alternate jersey instead of that crummy baby blue they wear?
I like the baby blue.
More than the red?
The red is really cool.
The
But I
red
like the
is
baby blue.
kick-ass.
Yeah, the red's really cool. But I like the baby blue.
If you had to pick between the red or the baby blue?
Probably red.
Okay. They should give Ryan Tannehill that red jersey they sell in the gift shop. They should say, Ryan, this is yours. Hey, Rams, don't hit him.
Don't touch him,
Don't
please.
Hit him.
We won't hit yours if you don't hit ours.
Deal. I will take that deal this week. But we all know that's not what's going to happen.
That's not how football's played.
So now Nate Davis is out. So Dylan Radins is probably in at right guard against Aaron Donald.
Oh, no.
Now, Ian brought up the point that Aaron Brewer may be healthy and play in this game, and then you could put him or Levin in there. But, I mean, I don't feel really good about Aaron Brewer or Corey Levin up against Aaron Donald either.
I don't really know if I feel good about anyone matched up against Aaron Donald, if we're going to be completely honest. But definitely not Dylan Radins, a guy who really isn't necessarily ready for the NFL from what we've seen so far.
So we were talking about what you can read into a Vrabel press conference, what you can't read into a Vrabel press conference, things of that magnitude. And like Darren Donick and Chase are convinced that Vrabel doesn't like Julio Jones based off of the press conferences. Now, I don't know if Vrabel likes Julio Jones or not, but I can't get any feel for that based upon the press conferences. They're like, when I hear Vrabel talk about somebody, I almost think, okay, why is Vrabel doing this? Because Vrabel doesn't like to talk about individual players. Like when Vrabel got up there on Monday and basically did a 15-minute press conference talking about Derrick Henry's injury, I knew that Vrabel did it, and I thought he did it pretty well, but I felt like Vrabel did that because he knows, hey, it's the number one story across the country when the best player in the NFL gets hurt. Vrabel's not dumb. But if you were to ask Vrabel a question about an individual who plays well, Mike, Derrick had 200 yards on Sunday. What did you think about that? You know, he'd start talking about the blocking downfield and the good play call and the way they set it up. And, like, he would kind of shy away from the individual credit for Derrick. He's been asked about Dylan Radins every week. And there's, like, an optimistic answer he gives about Dylan, which is like, oh, yeah, you know, Dylan's really working through some things, and Dylan's really grown. And, you know, he's got some good plays where he finishes at the end of them, and we're really proud of it. And I'm like, that's not for us. Like, Vrabel getting up there and talking about how much he believes in Dylan Radins, that's not for us. That's not for me. That's not for you. That's not for you, the fans. That's not for the writers. That's not even for Paul Kaharski. That is for Dylan. That's why he says it. Because I bet you they ride his rear end. And they probably ride his rear end because they think if they don't, they're going to be screwed because they used a second-round pick on him, and they need him. And right now, Nate Davis is out. They need him. But the last thing you can do if you ride a guy every day is blow his confidence by going to the media and saying, yeah, he kind of sucks, which they're never going to do. So what you do is you go to the media and you talk about the fact that, no, hey, like, we believe in this kid and he's making great progress. And when you're critical 10 times, But the 11th time, you're like, hey, look at this play right here. Way to finish, Dylan. And then you highlight that with the media, it kind of, inflates his confidence a little bit. Like, yeah, these guys do believe in me. I mean,
not
listen
all
to what
bad.
they're saying about me. And I think it's because Vrabel knows they need him. And I'm scared to death of the fact that they need him this week against Aaron Donald and the Rams. Scared to death. Now, I'm not going to take Tannehill out of the game, and you got to play with whoever you have. But scared to death. Against Aaron Donald, that's how I feel.
Is the risk of injury what scares you?
The risk of injury to Tannehill?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I mean, of course, right now.
I mean, the risk is always there, but I think that the risk is even higher this week.
Well,
knock on wood.
The reality is, with all things, what is your margin for error? I started the show talking about this game and how, I don't feel the excitement for this game because I don't think the Titans are going to win, and I'm not even sure really how they can win, and I think a lot of Titan fans feel that way too.
Mm-hmm.
But if let's say they had lost last week to Indianapolis and Indianapolis beats the Jets, they'd have to win this game. And we'd be talking about why they have to win this game. They've done enough work now that they don't have to win this game. And the schedule the rest of the way is pretty easy, so they don't necessarily have to win this game.
If they do, great. If they don't, let's move on.
But the margin for error so it doesn't scare you. Tannehill getting hurt always scares you, especially when your backup is Logan Woodside. If you had a backup who's like a decent player, like Tannehill was when he was your backup. If you had a backup like that, or Neil O'Donnell, or somebody who has been a starting quarterback in the league.
Drew Lock.
And had he sucks. And had a little bit of success. Like just a modicum of success in the NFL. Like Neil O'Donnell had been to the Super Bowl. Like if you had that guy as your backup. Andy Dalton.
I would say going to the Super Bowl is more than just a little bit of success.
Right. That's what Neil O'Donnell did. That's what I'm talking about. If you'd had that guy. So if you had Andy Dalton, for example, as your backup quarterback, I could look at an injury to Tannehill if you had Derrick Henry and say, okay, I don't like it, but now, Andy, you're in. But when you've got Logan Woodside, who's the great unknown, as the backup quarterback, I don't feel very good about it. And now you don't have Derrick Henry, so a loss to Tannehill is legitimately crippling. So, yeah, I'm scared that Tannehill's going to get hurt, but you also can't play football scared, so he's going to have to play this game Sunday night. But, boy, I don't like it. I do not like it when I see Dylan Radins out there. And even if they don't start Dylan Radins, maybe it's a little bit better with Brewer. Maybe it's a little bit better with Corey Levin. But those are guys that can't get jobs elsewhere. And Radins was taken in the second round. So, oh, my goodness. Oh. And just remember this. When it comes to the Vrabel press conference talk, I asked Vrabel last year, I said it like this because I wanted to get a legitimate answer out of him when Isaiah Wilson got his DUI. And I said, we don't know Isaiah Wilson, right? The kid was drafted during COVID, and you can do some Zooms, but, that's it. So we don't know this kid. Mm-hmm. So when he gets, when the cops bust up a TSU party because they have too many people there, and he's thinking about jumping off the balcony and ultimately doesn't, that is kind of a concern, but we don't know because we don't know the kid. Then when he gets a DUI for doing wheelies downtown, that is concerning. And I asked Vrabel, I said, you guys drafted him, so you know him. But, we know Derrick Henry and Kevin Byard and Ryan Tannehill and Taylor Lewan. And we know those guys. We don't know this guy. Is he a good kid? And Vrabel was like, oh, yeah, he's a good kid, and we're not going to just bail on the kid, and he made a bad choice, and he, that kind of stuff. Well, that's for him. It's not really for us. That's for, hey, we still believe in you, kid. And I think in a different way, a football-related way, that's what he's doing with Radins. But I wonder how scared they are of putting Radins out there against Aaron Donald with Tannehill at quarterback, too. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We will get to your texts and calls, 615-737-1025. Your reaction, we will do that next, coming up here on Stillman and Company. If I sound a little fired up today, I don't know. Do I sound a little fired up today?
You do sound fired up.
It's probably because I had a little bit of focus before the show. That's right. Sparkling water with a spark. So it's not one of these energy drinks that has that fake sugar or whatever you want to call it. And they have natural tea caffeine. So you get the energy without the sugar, calories, or crash. I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't like coffee. So for me, when I want a little caffeine, I go with Focus. I absolutely love it. Again, sparkling water with a spark. Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S. You go online to drinkfocus.com to find their full lineup of flavors, and you can get them delivered right to your door. Enter the promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix store. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com. And I will say this. I went into a Publix, and I asked about Focus, and they were like, I think we have that. They literally took me to the aisle where it was. I guess they have the little Publix thing where it tells them where things are, and the Focus was right there. So if you go in looking for Focus, ask your friendly people at Publix. The one in Belmead that I went to, the guy was so nice, and I'm telling you, go to Publix, ask them for Focus. They got it there. Sparkling water with a spark. Give it a try. That's Focus. Drinkfocus.com.
Titans, Rams. The two-tone blue seeks a victory without King Henry on Sunday Night Football.
The closest you will ever see to a running back carrying a franchise.
Tune in Sunday at 5 on ESPN 94.9 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Brentwood. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. Call today, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. I play at BetUS, and so should you. BetUS.com.
Use code GAME for a sign-up bonus.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
The fall is a beautiful time of year for sports. The start of the football season, baseball playoffs, basketball, hockey just around the corner. With a safe return of live events, that means you can actually be there to see all the action with Vivid Seats. Whether it's in the upper deck or on the 50-yard line, Vivid Seats has you covered. And with Vivid Seats rewards, you can earn free tickets from your very first purchase. Just buy, collect stamps, and redeem. It's that easy. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats. Experience it live.
Hey Nashville, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee here, inviting you to tune in on ESPN 94.9 every Monday at 6 p.m. for the Commodore Hour, providing you with exclusive insights on Vanderbilt athletics.
Hey, this is John Hines, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Fireball Hot Take Friday, Stillman and Company. We are delivered by TriStar Movers. ESPN 94.9 is the official English radio home of the Nashville Soccer Club. Sunday, Nashville SC takes on the New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Pregame 2:15. The match begins at 2:30. When does the soccer season end?
That is the last game.
Okay, I was like, God, we've been playing soccer all
Regular
year.
season, of course.
I mean, my goodness.
I mean, it's got to be chilly out there.
Are we going to win the championship?
I do not know that. It will be tough, but they have secured a home first-round playoff game. And their record at home is very good, so that is a positive for sure.
Roll Tide, indeed. That is the Nashville SC update from Ian Safari. Now,
thank you, Ian.
to your phones on the Titans Rams. But I do have this one thought. If the Titans win, I used to complain about this all the time. And I still kind of care about it, even though I don't talk about it as much. Sometimes I think I just talked about it a lot to kind of ruffle the GM up a little bit. But I don't care what the national media thinks about the Titans. I used to watch all these shows every day, like Get Up and First Take and Skip and Shannon. And just if they talked about the Titans, and they've talked about the Titans all week because Derrick Henry's injury,
Derrick Henry.
Adrian Peterson comes in, and I haven't. I mean, yeah, Stephen A. said some stuff that we talked about, but I really don't care. And I'm not sure I really care about the national love for the Titans. And I don't know if Titan fans care anymore about the national love for the Titans.
I think they do.
Do they?
Some may not, but I think that overall they do. Yeah, I mean, if it's your team and you're just kind of sick and tired of the disrespect, then especially this season, whenever they beat the Bills, they beat the Chiefs, and the narrative was, well, the Chiefs just aren't that good then.
But we didn't get a lot of calls about that. You know what I mean? Like when fans care about something, you can get them pretty riled up.
That's true. We didn't get any calls on it. I think I just saw the sentiment on Twitter from Titans fans.
When I said that Jeremy McNichols should be the starting running back over Adrian Peterson, we got a lot of calls.
Now that ruffled some feathers there.
When I said that Ryan Tannehill is going to have to step it up, and that you asked who I'd rather lose, Tannehill or Henry, and I said, maybe Tannehill. Like, that got people all riled up.
Feathers ruffled.
So I don't think people care about it that much anymore. Maybe it's because the Titans have had enough national success over the last couple of years that we all know it's all phony baloney anyways, and who cares? And just, play the games and let's go. But if they beat the Rams on Sunday, I mean, they will. I heard Dan Lovitz say this in Indianapolis today. I was listening to see what he said about their win over the Jets, because Dan is very all over Frank Reich and Carson Wentz. Everybody else in Indy, it's like the Knoxville media, where you think that the quarterback of the Vols is going to the Heisman Trophy, every year. And Dan Lovitz is kind of the opposite of that. And I listened to Dan Lovitz today, and he's like, if Titans win, this would be the greatest 4-game winning streak in the history of football, right? And I kind of thought about it. I'm like, it'd be pretty impressive. Bills, Chiefs, Colts with a broken foot, Rams on Sunday Night Football with no Derrick Henry. You would have taken down 2 of the top 3 contenders for the Super Bowl. The betting favorites right now to win the Super Bowl, you would have taken down 2 of the top 3.
Top seeds in both conferences.
Rams are not the top seed.
Are they not?
No, Rams are 5th.
They're 5th?
Well, if you don't win your division, you're automatically 5th.
Okay.
So in the NFC, the Cardinals beat the Rams.
Right.
And the Cardinals have one loss. Yes. So the Cardinals are ahead of the Rams. And the Packers are ahead of the Cardinals because the Packers beat the Cardinals.
Right.
And so the Rams are 5th. But I saw at the bottom of the screen today on Fox, and the Rams are the third. They have the third best odds to win the Super Bowl, I believe, behind the Buccaneers and the Bills. So you're talking about, in a 4-week period, taking down the top 2 teams as far as betting odds to win the Super Bowl are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
You will get all the national love in the world if you beat the Rams without Derrick Henry. Like, if you go in there on Sunday and you win, every top 10 list they do, and they won't spend hours talking about the Titans because they'll be too caught up talking about the Cowboys and Odell Beckham and, trying to think of who else is, LeBron and whomever else. They'll spend all their time talking about that. What's wrong in Kansas City? When's Aaron coming back? They'll be doing all that. But whenever they come out with their top 10 list, who's the best team in the AFC? Let's kick it around. Ryan Clark, what do you think? They'll all say the Titans.
I just don't know if they're going to talk about the Titans that much, though.
Well, but they always do their top rankings. Who's the team to beat in the AFC? Ryan Clark. And it's all going to be Titans if the Titans win this game.
Most likely, yes.
Now, I don't think the Titans are going to win this game, but that's what it would be. Let's go to your phones as promised. 615-737-1025. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. What do we have?
Paul texts in and says, I think your view of this game is kind of playing with house money is a good take. However, for a collection players and a fan base that complains about not getting the national love, this is the kind of game and circumstance where if you go out and punch the Rams in the mouth, you probably get the attention and love that you're looking for, to your point about the national love.
Ryan Clark, who's the team to beat in the AFC? Titans. But what is that worth? What is that? What does that really matter?
I mean, I would say the biggest thing in terms of national love that matters is the schedule. Who gets those national games? Who gets those Sunday night games, those Monday night games, those those Thursday night games.
But it's not college football. Well, everybody gets one Thursday night game. Except I think Dallas gets 2 because Dallas plays on Thanksgiving every year.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is not college football where we're trying to get people to decide to play for the Titans over deciding to play for the Colts. Like the discussions for those kind of things are like, hey, how much is Indianapolis going to pay you? $6 million? Here's $6.5. Okay. There's not, it's not like college football where being the premier program gets you the best players. This is the NFL.
Yes.
So, and I kind of think the Titan fans, because when I was a kid, I always kind of felt like the Titans didn't get enough national attention. And I don't want to say it bothered me, but I always kind of wanted them to get more. But I think some of that, too, was because we all watched the same stuff. We all had, one sports channel, ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's 16 sports channels. Now there's so many sports channels that the networks are getting rid of sports channels. NBC Sports is like, no, we're done with that. CBS Sports Network, I don't know who the hell watches that. I'm sure that'll go away soon enough. So now it's well, everybody watches. There's podcasts. There's so much stuff.
There's so much content.
There's so much stuff. That I just don't know that it would have the same, resonance. And I'll go back to ESPN. Okay, let's say the Titans win. And they're talking on the set of Get Up, the morning show. And they're talking on the set. And they're going around the room, and they have Greenberg and Dan Graziano and Ryan Clark and Rex Ryan. And they say, who's the best team in the AFC? And all of them say the Titans. Who cares? Who cares what Rex Ryan thinks? Do you care what Rex Ryan thinks?
No, I don't. Because a couple weeks ago, they all said that the Bengals were the dark horse in the AFC.
This is where I get so excited about Sunday Night Football normally, is you got Al Michaels calling the game. Now, to me, Al Michaels calling the game matters. It may not matter to you, but it matters to me because, I'm like, Al Michaels. And when I was a kid, ESPN had 6 guys. So it was Tom Jackson or Mike Ditka saying something. It was can you believe what Tom Jackson said? That's why if the Fox guys say something, if Howie Long or if Bill Cowher on CBS or Tony Romo, if they say something, I might listen more. But with all these other guys, it's kind of all the same to me. So I'm not sure I get so excited like maybe I did as a kid. I also think the other thing is the Titans were so bad for about a 10-year period that they never got any respect. They never got talked about. So when they first started kind of getting talked about a little bit, it was wow. They're talking about Derrick Henry, and they're comparing him to Eric Dickerson. Now it's well, no duh, they compare him to Eric Dickerson. So that's kind of how I feel about all that. Maybe I'm a little off. Take my temperature. I don't know if I sound like me
Are you in a fever? Should I call 911?
Call Aaron Rodgers. He knows.
Yeah, Aaron. Dr. Aaron.
Dr. Aaron. What else we got?
One texter texts in and says, I don't care about the national media, their rants, or about what they say or don't about the Titans.
Ian, do you think that over the last couple of years we've stopped caring about the national media a little bit?
I'd say that might be fair. Yeah. I'd say so. I think we've kind of seen that they don't always pay as much close attention as we do on this kind of stuff, especially in a smaller market like here. I just think they have so many other teams to worry about. They just don't know the ins and outs as well as some of the local people do.
I'm not here to dump on national radio, but when in this industry, when I first got started, it was local people try to get to better local situations or try to go to national radio. They try to just jump over to national radio. And when I first started in this industry, ESPN had Mike and Mike, which is probably the greatest national radio sports show ever. They had Colin Cowherd, who's probably the most talented national sports radio host ever. They had Scott Van Pelt. They had shows that people, I'm not knocking ESPN radio, but can you even tell me? Can you tell me what the daily lineup on ESPN radio is right now? Go.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin in the morning.
Zubin's out. Max Kellerman's in, but yes.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max in the morning. I know Spain and Fitz is later on, greenies stuck there at some point in the middle of the day. But no, I don't know the exact lineup.
And I look at this, like to Ian's point about how we know more about the Titans and stuff like that. And I'm like, you flip on national radio, and it's like, I don't even know what they talk about anymore. It's like, is it just an extension of, like, I thought when they had the show with Fitz in the middle of the day, First Take, Your Take, which they now have gotten rid of.
It's now Spain and Fitz.
But when they had that show, I'm like, that's a good show for them. Because what you're doing is you're basically using your stars, your show, First Take, and you're having Fitz essentially recycle that with your discussion. I'm like, that makes sense because it feeds into the main things they want to talk about.
It's rebranding brands that already exist, which I think is a smart way to go about it.
But now it's like, who's on right now? Bart Scott?
I have no idea.
Well, I can tell you this right now, and I have a lot of respect for Bart Scott. Bart Scott does not know more about the Titans than I do. I can just tell you that right now.
And I don't think he would claim to.
No, but like that's the thing that I look at here with like the national media, which is like, these guys, they barely even watch Titans. They can't tell you about Jeremy McNichols. And so I feel like there's a lot of value in local radio that maybe wasn't as big of a deal in the past because so many people listen to national stuff. And now maybe I feel like it's not. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting on a tangent here.
Well, when you need to know about everything that's going on, you know a little bit about everything, but then you really do a deep dive into the things that you know are going to get eyes on your product. Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, the big names, the big teams, that's what drives eyes to their program. So they're going to know more about those things, and then they're going to, touch on the surface of everything else, because when you need to know about everything, you can't know about everything.
Sure.
But enter local radio, and that's the value of local news and local reporters and local radio, local TV, is that you do get a deep dive.
I just don't think that the people, too, that do the national radio now anymore, like, I don't think that they're listened to as much as the people that used to do it. Because there's so many outlets now for you to do things. Like,
oh, yeah.
And I've always wondered this now, like, with the advent of streaming, like, you can listen in Phoenix, Arizona to this, right? I was working out at, like, 7 o'clock in the morning in Puerto Rico listening to Robbie and Joe. Like, because you can do that.
Right.
Like, and so it's like, if I want to hear about the Titans, like, I'm not going to listen to Bart Scott talk about the Titans. No disrespect to Bart. And I wonder if maybe we as Nashville fans have gotten smarter about, like, it's so oversaturated, like, that this is where you go to hear about the
There's just more options.
Back to your phones next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Though I do, when it's Al Michaels, that's Al Michaels is different. Al Michaels is different to me. Join Caroline Fenton tomorrow at Sam's in Murfreesboro at 1720 Old Fort Parkway and catch the SEC Game of the Week, the Auburn Tigers and Texas A&M, and enjoy some great food and beer specials. Fireball Hot Take Friday, Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Another chilly start this morning, but it will be an overall warmer day with highs in the upper 50s and 60s with sunshine for the weekend and beyond.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details. details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Titans fans are the greatest fans in all of sports, and BetMGM is celebrating them with a special offer on their favorite team. All you have to do is sign up with BetMGM using the code 1025GAME100 and make any $1 wager on the Titans game. Once the bet is placed, you'll receive $100 in free bets. It's that simple. That's it. That's all you have to do. Then check out fan-friendly promotions like special odds boosts, early cash-out offers, sweepstakes giveaways, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025GAME100 to receive $100 when you make any $1 bet on the Titans game. Titans fans, now you're winning with the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets on site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. and Friday at 3:15 to hear News 2's Corey Curtis take on all things Nashville sports, including the week's NFL games. All brought to you by Invigorate Health in Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, medical weight loss, testosterone, body shaping, and more.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
What are some of the challenges the Rams bring, especially defensively?
I mean, if you allow it to be a challenge, they have all pro players. I mean, all across the board over there. They front five, everybody. But if we just go out there and execute and just do our job, I mean, we don't have to make it harder than what it is. Just go out there and play one play at a time.
That was Julio Jones. Great coach talk. Probably learned that at Alabama. Let's go to your phones. Fireball Hot Take Friday.
Alex comments on the YouTube stream and says, I think that it's a mix of wanting to be considered a top dog in the AFC every year and the Titans doing things that show the national media that we aren't there yet. Rinse and repeat.
Does anybody here, though, think the Titans are competitors right now for the top spot in the AFC? Like, I think the Titans have a chance if they get Derrick Henry back to go win the Super Bowl. But I don't think that the Titans are the top team in the AFC right now without Derrick Henry.
I would agree with that.
So this idea of like, hey, this is our opportunity to show people, maybe that would have been. Like, let's say that Derrick ended up having a mild foot sprain and would be ready to go for this Sunday's game against the Rams, as opposed to a broken foot out maybe for the season. If that were the case, then maybe that would be the narrative this week.
Yeah.
Then maybe it would be the, hey, is this going to be the game where Julio gets out there and dominates and shows everybody and this and that? Like, maybe that's what it would be. But it can't be that way if you don't have Derrick Henry, because we all know that the Titans aren't as good without Derrick Henry. And so maybe it's different, like if they win this game. I just don't think Titan fans are jazzed up, because I don't think Titan fans think they're going to win this game. Even the biggest Titan fans that are like true blue to the bone, I don't even think they think the Titans are going to win this game.
Probably not, and it's just the lack of implications that this game has. I mean, if the Titans win, great. Your spot in the AFC is, safe for another week. But if you lose this game, it's not like it has any divisional implications. It's not like it would be imploding. It's not lose or win or go home.
It would be a real kick in the crotch to Indianapolis if you won this game.
It would be, yes, it would. I mean,
but
it
wouldn't be anything like the kick.
It would add
the
salt
crotch
to the
last
wound.
Week was, because last week was pretty much. I mean,
last week it was everything. I mean, for Indianapolis, it was win or you're done.
Like
essentially,
I got a bunch of people last night that tweeted me like, "What do you think of the Colts now, Jared?" Ha 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 ha. I'm like, the Jets with a third-string quarterback.
And the game was close with the second-string quarterback in.
Well, I don't think it was really all that close. Although the Jets did almost backdoor cover. I mean, that would have been impressive. But, I mean, I don't even think the Colts think that they can win the division right now. I think they think there's a chance because Derrick Henry got hurt.
Small chance, but there's a chance.
Outside of that, like if Derrick was healthy, I think the Colts would know that there was no shot.
But I do have to give credit to Jonathan Taylor. He had a great game last night.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Why did he touch it 15 times Sunday against the Titans?
That's what I don't know.
Why did they throw it 50 times on Sunday against the Titans?
Well, I
was that great coaching
game
from Vrabel to get them to throw it 50 times, or is Reich just that much of a doofus?
Why would you not use him?
And I think that the answer might be that Reich is that much of a doofus, and I'm going to tell you why. There was a 4th down yesterday right at the goal line that they went for it, and they didn't get it, and I'm like, this guy. This guy, Reich is, I'll be honest with you, the more I watch this Frank Reich, the more I think he is a terrible coach. I mean, he's starting to enter the territory of how I have felt about teams with bad coaches. Doug Marrone in Jacksonville, I hope they never fired that guy. Jim Mora Sr., when he coached the Colts, I hope they had never fired that guy. The Phillies had Larry Boa as their manager. And I had hoped the Phillies would never fire him. Finally, they fired him. They hired Charlie Manuel. They won the World Series. I was like, oh, God, was so much better as a Braves fan when they had Larry Boa. And I'm starting to get to that point with Reich, where I hope they never fire this guy because I'm not sure he can coach. And yet he just gets his rear end massaged every day about how great of a coach he is. He's terrible. I mean, he's terrible. And we didn't get to spend enough time talking about this because Derek broke his foot. Mm-hmm. But like 4th and 3 up 14-0 on the Titans, and you just intercepted Tannehill, and you go for it? You go for it? But he always goes for it. And the problem with going for it is that too many of these people that commentate on sports have no idea how it's played. And so they sit there and they're like, oh, yeah. 4th and 3, go for it, because I used to play Madden football, and in Madden football, no, you punt. You punt. Punting with an all-pro punter is not bad. I like it when the Titans are at their own 40 and they bring out Brett Kern, because I know he's going to put the ball at the 3-yard line. And he went for it. Oh, my God, Reich. I hope the Colts win enough games to never fire that man. Because as long as he's the coach, I'm not worried about Indianapolis winning the Super Bowl. As long as he's crazy. I mean, he is crazy watching him coach a game. Unbelievable. 615-737-1025. Boy, we are rocking and rolling on Fireball Hot Take Friday. 615-737-1025. Corey Curtis will join us in the next hour from News 2. And coming up next, there is one thing about the Rams. Do you think the Rams are the best team in the NFC?
No.
Really?
I think Dallas is the best team in the NFC right now.
Do you think, how would you rank the NFC?
Probably Dallas, and then the Rams, and then Green Bay, and then Arizona.
Arizona ahead of the Rams ahead of Arizona, even though Arizona beat them in LA by 17.
Yes.
It's hard for me to do.
Well, how would you rank them? Especially with a Von Miller Rams team.
See, the Von Miller thing is not that big of a deal to me.
Okay.
But you know how I feel about old guys past their prime.
Yes, you are very anti-old.
Yeah, I mean, like, old guys past their prime. It's like Albert Pujols for the Dodgers.
I don't think Von Miller is on the same level as of Albert Pujols in terms of olds.
I'll be real with you. I haven't watched the Broncos this year, so I don't know if Von is the Von of old, but I'm guessing he's not. So that doesn't totally – I mean, the Rams are a good team. I think the Rams are probably better than Dallas. I guess I would go Green Bay.
Green Bay?
Yeah. But coming up next, there's one thing about the Rams that nobody's talking about. I want to get to that next. TriStar Moving. Those are my official movers. I have this weekend, a year ago, Tennessee played Arkansas. Jeremy Pruitt lost to Arkansas. And I moved with TriStar Moving. So it is literally coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the day that I moved into my new home. And I loved my new home, and I loved my old home, and I didn't want anything bad to happen to either of them. And thank goodness it didn't, because I moved with TriStar Moving. Nothing bad happened to my furniture either. And you will not be surprised when you bring in TriStar Moving how great the price is, how nice the movers are, and how just enjoyable the experience is. They made my entire process so simple. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving is a breeze. They are always upping the game when it comes to mover training. That's why their motto is TriStar Moving with 5-star service. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they want to help the people of their hometown. This company is the real deal and on the rise quickly. So if you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website, nashvillemoving.org/radio, where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
The voice of reason.
No, you blew it. That's what happened. It didn't slip away. You blew it.
The voice of the fan.
The officials had let that game get out of control before anything got thrown.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology. But we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value, for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Hey, this is Jared, the owner of MTGRT.com. If your mortgage rate is not in the twos, then you need to call me now. We are locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. That's right, you heard it right. Locking in clients in the twos with no closing costs. Text me on my personal cell at 615-969-2257 or fill out a few pieces of information on our website, MTGRT.com. MTGRT.com is the proud sponsor of Paul Feinbaum, heard on 102.5 The Game and ESPN 94.9.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Corey Curtis from News 2 in 10 minutes. The Titans have made a roster move. Greg Mabin has been moved to the injured reserve with, what is it, a knee injury, Ian?
I'm not sure it said, actually.
Okay, so Greg Mabin's hurt. So, boo-hoo. Adrian Peterson signed to the active roster.
No longer a practice squad guy.
No longer a practice squad player. Now, the Titans had said their plan was to elevate Peterson every week. And so now they're just putting him on the active roster. And I saw a Mike Garafolo tweet who said that the Titans have been so impressed with Adrian Peterson. He's only been here for 3 days. That they've been so impressed that they're adding him to the active roster, which I was kind of like, whoa.
Whoa.
Now, the Titans, over the last couple of years, have been known to invest in some lemons. Isaiah Wilson, Dylan Radins, Julio Jones, Jadeveon Clowney, Vic Beasley, that this might be the time where they are kind of surprised, like almost humbled by the fact that, hey, wow, Adrian Peterson actually, looks pretty good. We didn't think he'd look this good. He looked pretty good. Let's put him in the active roster.
When it's like, hey, you know what? This is what should happen every time with a pick, with an acquisition, with a trade.
What I do wonder, though, is Joe Retro right, where he thinks Adrian Peterson's going to be the lead dog. And that this is a sign that, hey, Adrian's the lead guy. That we practiced for 3 days. We've seen enough. Adrian, here's the ball. I don't know.
I don't think this week. I mean, I still think it would be so early to, hand Adrian Peterson the keys to this car.
How many carries for Peterson this week?
I would say like 8 to 12.
12?
8 to 12.
That's handing him the keys to the car.
If you're running the ball 34 times a game.
Well, they're not running it 34 times a game. 34 are the amount of touches.
Okay.
So that's passes that McNichols catches, passes that Henry catches. So your running backs are touching it 34 times a game. You're running it like 28 times a game. But you're not going to run it 28 times. So you're really going to run it about 24. And if you're running it about 24 times a game and you're giving Adrian Peterson 12 carries, you're giving him half the amount of carries in the game. And then there's the other guys to split those up, and that also includes Tannehill. That's a lot for a guy.
Well, then maybe not 12. I would say then less than 10. 5 to 10.
Crazy on the Adrian Peterson. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Joe Rexrode's right. Maybe Adrian Peterson is the number one running back going forward, and I would be stunned by it because he's too old. But hey, maybe they're talking a big game over there. And the Titans, the one thing I will say about the way the NFL works, don't worry about what anybody says. Always pay attention to what they do. So when the guy's been here for 3 days and 2 real practices because they told us Wednesday was a walkthrough, and they've already added him to the active roster, that's probably a little bizarre. The other thing I was thinking about, too, I think it's probably disrespectful to have Adrian Peterson on the practice squad. Like, if you're going to use Adrian Peterson, and I know it's a
called him
business,
a practice squad guy earlier this week.
He was a practice squad guy.
There's a difference between a practice squad guy and a guy in the practice squad. Adrian Peterson is not a practice squad guy.
He was on the practice squad.
It's different.
In fact, before he was on the practice squad, nobody wanted him on their team or their practice squad.
It's different. He's not a practice squad guy.
Practice squad guy when you're on the practice squad.
Nope.
That's what you are. Like, is Albert Pujols a bench player?
No.
Where is he going to be?
Well, he isn't anywhere right now.
Well, he says he's going to play next year. And if he plays next year, where is he going to be?
Well, if he plays next year, he won't be on the bench.
Where was he this year?
He played.
He was on the bench.
He played.
He started 1 game in the playoffs, and then after that 1 game, they're like, we can't start him no more.
Well, Adrian Peterson won't be on the bench.
Well, I'm saying that he was on the practice squad. So when you're on the practice squad, you're a practice squad guy. But I do think, to your point, the Titans probably looked at it like, hey, if we're going to play this guy this much, it's disrespectful to have Adrian Peterson on the practice squad. It's one thing when it's like Matt Overton, who's the long snapper now for the Chargers, who was the long snapper last year. I actually like Matt Overton a lot. Really good guy. It's one thing when it's Matt Overton. And it's like Matt Overton's on the practice squad, Matt Overton up to the active roster. It's one thing when it's Will Compton, who spent a lot of time on the practice squad last year, and then it was like, Will Compton up to the active roster. This is Adrian Peterson. And so I think once you realized, hey, Adrian is going to be a big part of this with Jeremy McNichols, time to put Adrian on the active roster, because it is kind of embarrassing that Adrian Peterson's on the practice squad. It's Adrian Peterson. And so, to your point, they probably looked at it and they said, maybe we save a few bucks here and there, but is it worth it when we probably should treat Adrian Peterson like he is a legitimate member of our team? Yeah. And I wonder if that's why they made the quick move to Peter. Also, can you really tell in 2 practices whether or not Adrian Peterson is ready to be your number 1 running back?
Well, I don't know if there was something in particular that they were looking for, and that's all they needed to see was 2 or 3 practices to say, okay, yep, nope, he's got it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much you can tell from a guy in 2 practices to say, yep, you are now the starting running back of a run-first team. We've seen all we need to see. 4 hours total of Adrian Peterson, done. But they may have.
Sean Reese tells me 11 carries for Peterson. Let's do this. Okay, so use over-under.
Thank you, Sean.
Over-under. How many carries for Peterson? You went with, give me your final number.
8 to 10.
That's not like one number.
10.
Okay. Ian, your final number.
12.
Ooh. I really want to go 13 just in case he gets more than it's.
Oh, no way.
I'll go 7. I'll go 7 for Peterson. I think Peterson will get some carries. I think they probably will be a little worried about, not like worried about Peterson getting hit, but I think the idea of pounding somebody who hasn't played in a year, I think they probably are a little cognizant of, hey, let's get Adrian kind of worked in slowly, and let's get Foreman worked in slowly, and go from there.
I think that you'll start to see his carry count go up throughout the season, but like I think this game might be the lowest moving forward.
So I'm still not totally convinced that I'm wrong, that McNichols is the running back, and Peterson will be there in support and on running downs. Kind of like when the Titans lost Eddie George, Chris Brown was the running back, the backup who became the running back. And then they brought in Antoine Smith, a veteran from the Patriots, who was towards the end of his career. And Antoine Smith really didn't carry the ball much. That's kind of what I felt like Adrian Peterson was going to be. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Joe Rexrode's right. Adrian's the guy. I don't know. But
was that a pretty run-heavy team?
Well, I mean, they had the MVP at quarterback. So, no. But I think that, I mean, like Jeff Fisher. So, of course, it's a run-heavy team. Like, that's Fisher Bowl.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Corey Curtis, News 2, will join us next. His thoughts on Adrian Peterson, his thoughts on the Titans against the Rams, his thoughts on the Henry injury, his thoughts on Julio Jones, his thoughts on everything. We'll get to that coming up next here on Stillman and Company. Ian, do I have to tell anybody out there about the I'm so good to not tell people here on this wonderful Fireball Hot Take Friday. Don't miss the pregame show live from the Corner Pub in Brentwood this Sunday. The pregame show features Mark Howard, former Titans receiver Chris Sanders, and yours truly. Will be live from 5 to 7 at the Corner Pub in Brentwood, 710 Old Hickory Boulevard, prior to the Titans taking on the Rams. The pregame show is brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is a sight that Tennessee fans don't want to see. Derrick Henry, right cleat is off down on their sideline.
Can Ryan Tannehill and the Titans rally without King Henry? Or will their hot streak come to an end against the Rams?
Their team now. They have to step up and do even more. Now, whether they can do that with the way this team's built, the way this offense is designed, time will tell.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Rams. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
During Lowe's Provember event, new members of their loyalty program get a welcome kit via mail now through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros, U.S. only.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue, so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Stillman and Company, ESPN 1025, The Game Fireball Hot Take Friday. Don't miss the NFL Game of the Week on ESPN 1025, The Game, presented by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. It is the Minnesota Vikings and the Baltimore Ravens noon kickoff on ESPN 1025, The Game. Corey Curtis from News 2 joins us on the program with a wild week. I was actually listening to Corey's weekly interview on our morning show on Monday mornings, which they always say that imitation is the finest form of flattery. I'm kind of a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but I'd like for the morning show to say, hey, it was a great idea to have Corey Curtis on every week because Jared has done it for so many years, and it has been so fantastic. I'm listening to this interview as my dad and I are driving back from World Series Game 5, and we're up somewhere in Georgia, and I hear Robbie say, we got some breaking news we got to discuss. Yeah. Derrick Henry out for the season. Corey Curtis segment brought to you by Invigorate Health in Mount Juliet. Look and feel your best with IV therapy, medical weight loss, testosterone, health and wellness, and body shaping treatments. InvigorateHealthTN.com. Corey, your reaction to what we know now. Derrick Henry out. Maybe he comes back this year. Maybe he doesn't. Mm-hmm. Adrian Peterson in. Deontay Foreman in. What do you make of that?
Well, it's funny because when Robbie dropped it on me, I wasn't shocked because I saw the foot during the game, and I'm like, there's not any injuries that I know of that happen with the foot that are good. And so I wasn't totally shocked at the time. But listen, he is the Titans' best player, without question. I totally understand that. But losing Ryan Tannehill would be more important than losing Derrick Henry right now. Okay, the drop-off is more significant in the way it affects the football team. And I'm not saying that the Titans will be just fine, okay? But I am saying life goes on, and they can still win enough games without him. History says he's a fast healer. Now, those have been muscular injuries and not bone injuries, but I'm still confident he's back in 6 to 8 weeks, probably more like 8 weeks, and he's back to help the football team. I like what they did to replace him. Number one, because they didn't dump draft picks for Johnny Rando, because anybody that they could have traded for was just a guy, okay? And there's no box that says break in case Derrick Henry goes down, okay? You can't replace him. There's not another Derrick Henry out there. So all you do is you plug in the best you can. And I like that John Robinson, Mike Vrabel clearly had a plan for the type of player that they have brought in to replace Derrick Henry. They've got 460 pounds of running back now between Deontay Foreman and Adrian Peterson, all right? Those are two big dudes who run physically and can continue their campaign of wearing defenses out into the fourth quarter. Are they Derrick Henry? No, they are not. There is only one. But they can continue to wear on people. And I'm not big. You know this about me, Jared. I'm not big into signing aging stars. There's a reason they're available. Brian Urlacher, Ed Reed. I remember when all those guys. I'm like, no. But I do think there's a value to Adrian Peterson because he's Adrian Peterson. Because when he lines up in the backfield, everybody on the defense knows that's Adrian Peterson back there. And whether it's not the Adrian Peterson of 2012 or not, he's still going to get their attention and sell play action a little bit better than Darrington Evans would. And so I like that from that aspect. We'll see what these guys have got. If they don't have anything, they didn't cost them anything, and they go and they find two more guys to plug in there. But I like the attack that they've made, and they've only got to win 5 games to get them where they need to go for the postseason, in my estimation, the rest of the way. And so we'll see how it goes.
Do you have any faith they can win this game against the Rams Sunday? It is the least talked about Sunday night football game I have ever heard for a local team in the history of Nashville, Tennessee.
And I would have thought if Derrick Henry was healthy, it would have been the most pubbed Sunday night game of the season. I know what do we have? We had Patriots, Bucks. That there's no way you're getting past that. But you would have had people been saying Super Bowl preview with a healthy Derrick Henry, and this game would have been. It's just like nationally when Derrick Henry went down, they popped the balloon, and this was going to be my hot take. I'll come up with something else. Mike Vrabel's got him right where he wants him, and I say that not jokingly. I say over and over again, nobody puts Vrabel in a corner. Mike Vrabel's in that locker room every day right now saying, Stephen A., Marcellus Wiley, Dougal McDougalson, they're all saying the same thing. You guys are nothing. They're saying you guys are nothing without Derrick Henry. They don't think we can win another game without Derrick Henry. And he's going to tell these guys the truth. You guys are way more than that. Derrick is special, but so are we. And he's going to get the most out of him because you know what Mike Vrabel does? When the chips are down, he gets the most out of his football team. He's got 17 upset victories since he took over as head coach. It's ridiculous. You look at last week, coming off of that emotional win, of the Bills and then beating the Chiefs, and you go to the Colts, you think, oh, well, this will be a letdown. They just keep coming. And it's because the head coach has got them moving in that direction. And so do they have a chance to win this game? Absolutely.
So I'm going to disagree with you about their chance to win this game. And the one thing I will say, of the 17 upset victories that Mike Vrabel has, Derrick Henry played in all of them.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I like. I think that this is like this game. Now, the other games, the Saints and the Steelers and the Patriots, and then all the bad teams, I think those are different because I think you can win those games without Derrick Henry. This reminds me of when the Titans played the Colts in the last game of the year without Mariota. And it was like Blaine Gabbert was out there and Floyd was pumping it in there saying, hey, Blaine can make every throw that we'd ask Marcus to make. And I'm sitting there on the stage. We got a 4-hour show, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, I got 2 options here. I can either light the old man up, and then he's going to sit there and give me the you don't know anything laugh and turn off for the rest of the show, or I can just say, hey, this is what he's telling the team. He's telling the team, if he were the GM, if he were the coach, he's telling them, hey, Blaine can make every throw, Marcus. To your point about Vrabel saying, hey, they think you're nothing without Derrick Henry. I'm not going to say that they're not anything without Derrick Henry. I think there's maybe a little truth to that, though, that, hey, Derrick Henry is the engine that drives this bus, and I'm worried about that for this team. And TD said yesterday, Corey, that Adam Schefter's sources are within the Titans organization and that Adam is pretty certain Derrick's not coming back this year. If you tell me that, I think season's over.
Well, it's a big loss. Look, I made perfectly clear there aren't any other Derrick Henrys out there, and it is a significant loss. But there are other guys on this football team who can make plays. Trent Green went down and Kurt Warner won a Super Bowl. There are other guys who have come in and filled the void. This team's defense is getting better, is starting to make plays. I think there are gears left to this offense that we haven't even seen them approach to tap, because we haven't seen Julio and AJ out there together at all. They've gotten virtually nothing from the tight end position, and I think they can get some more, they can get some other things out of the running back position. I think the Darrington Evans loss is still disappointing to me because of the speed aspect for him, but I still think that they can do some things to win some games. So when you ask me, can they win this game? Yes, they can win this game. Should they be favored to win this game? Heck no. Heck no, they shouldn't be. But they had no business beating the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Indianapolis Colts all right in a row. But they did, because the sum of the parts is pretty good. And yes, Derrick Henry is a massive loss, but I am not going to say it's the end of the season, because I've seen too many times where it's not. Now, you lose Ryan Tannehill on top of it. You lose A.J. Brown on top of it. You got problems. We'll see. They've got plenty of problems, believe me. But I'm not going to write this team off because they've shown me I shouldn't to this point.
Corey Curtis, News 2, is our guest. Kari Blasingame, Nate Davis, Rashaan Evans, and Greg Maben, who's now been put on IR, all out for the Titans. Meanwhile, added to the injury report, Taylor Lewan did not practice today with a knee. He's questionable. Monty Rice did not practice today with a knee. He's questionable. A.J. Brown added to the injury report with a knee, did not practice. He's questionable for Sunday. How concerned are you about Taylor and A.J.?
Well, I mean, I'm concerned until I guess I see him out there, but I mean, they're not out. But I mean, is Monty Rice made of glass? I mean,
he's like everybody else they pick. Evans, Fulton, Farley, Monty Rice.
What is going on with their cornerbacks where they just can't stay healthy? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not blaming the guys. Nobody tries to get hurt, but it's just unbelievable. Listen, am I concerned if those guys can't play? Yeah, heck yeah, I'm concerned. I'm not concerned about Rashaan Evans. They can get by without Rashaan Evans. Nate Davis is a concern.
Dylan Radins against Aaron Donald.
Do you think it'll be Radins or do you think it'll be Brewer?
I couldn't care less. They both are not good enough to stop Aaron Donald.
Well, look, is there anybody? I mean, Quentin Nelson.
Now, they may not be good enough to stop Ronald McDonald either, and that's a concern too.
So, look, I think the Nate Davis in those names you said who's not playing, that's the one that concerns me most.
Well, if A.J. Brown doesn't play, Corey, they have no chance of winning this game.
Well, yes, but I said of the guys who you said are definitively not playing, that's the one that concerns me most. I mean, obviously, Taylor, huge concern. A.J., huge concern. They gotta have those guys.
Corey, what's your hot take this week on a Fireball Hot Take Friday?
I am so sick, and I've been sick of this for 20 or 30 or whatever years of my 50-year life. I listen to people make excuses for people who just aren't the players that they were anymore. Like this notion that OBJ is the same player he was 4 years ago. It's just Baker Mayfield holding him back, or the Browns holding him back, is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, has he missed him a few times? Probably. But enough to make it the difference between him being the 1,500-yard OBJ and the guy we got now? No. There's no great collusion by Baker Mayfield or the Browns to hold OBJ down. And you know why? Because they want to win games. And Baker Mayfield wants to put up numbers, all right? If he's not throwing it to OBJ, there's a reason. Probably number one, he doesn't trust him. But there are other reasons as well that go into the way an offense is run. Guys don't get held down by other guys. Is Baker Mayfield the greatest quarterback in the NFL? No, he's not. Has he won games? Has he thrown for 300 yards? Yeah, he has. The only guy holding OBJ down is OBJ. And if people think he's going to go to the Saints or he's going to go to the Patriots and he's going to catch 1,500 yards and be that guy again, they have another thing coming because that guy hasn't been in the league since about 2016.
What's crazy about OBJ, and I'm actually getting to OBJ next, so I appreciate that you said this. People are talking about, this sounds like perfect for Belichick to go in there and bring him in. And
great.
You think Belichick is bringing in OBJ? All these guys Belichick's brought in over the years, Randy Moss, Antonio Brown, Ocho Cinco. He did that when he had Tom Brady as his quarterback, who had multiple Super Bowl MVPs under his belt and can look at one of these wide receivers and say, F you. You can't. Mac Jones is not going to do that to Odell Beckham. He's not bringing Odell Beckham in. Like, it's just not going to do that. So, anywho, I appreciate that. I do have a thought on Odell. Corey, appreciate you as always.
All right. Thank you, Jared.
Corey Curtis, News 2, joining us on the program as always. And I would agree with him on his Odell Beckham thing. And I do have a thought on Odell Beckham because I saw it's the same Titan fan losers every time. Every time. It's these people that think they're media, but they're really not. So I call them Twitter media, where, like, on Twitter, people will tweet at them like they're media, but they're not actually the media. Like, Corey Curtis is the media. And these people just, got to go get Odell Beckham. Titans have got to. We will talk. If you think the Titans should get Odell Beckham, go ahead and call in or text the text line, because now is going to be your opportunity to voice your opinion on whether or not the Titans should do that. But I've got a thought next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5, The Game. Edmunds, my friends, that's right, for buying or selling cars. Thanks to Edmunds for sponsoring the show. Deals on new and used vehicles have been harder to find recently because of car shortages and increased demand. And the stress of researching prices and budgeting is not fun. Buying a car is a major financial commitment, and it's often an overwhelming process. Edmunds has been taking the stress out of the entire car shopping process for over 50 years, and they've been keeping track of everything happening in the market to help you shop with confidence. I love the fact that Edmunds will appraise your vehicle for free. In fact, once you know, you can spend less time stressing at dealerships and get the most out of shopping without leaving the home, because you can get a free online appraisal in under 1 minute with options for a real cash offer from a participating dealership. No information is required, and once you know how much a trade-in is worth, you can set your budget and start searching for new and used vehicles near you for you. I pulled up Edmunds the other day looking for a Sprinter van. I was like, I wonder how much a Sprinter van costs. Where's one close to me? Edmunds. Boom. Found right then and there. Car shopping can be stressful. Edmunds is here to help. Visit Edmunds.com to get a free online appraisal today and start searching for vehicles in your area. That's EDMUNDS.com, because for cars, there's Edmunds.
Tonight.
Forsberg shoots and scores. Battle for the rebound. Zero's got to it.
The Predators' road trip continues from the Pacific Northwest when they clash with the Vancouver Canucks. Pre-game at 8. Face-off at 9.
On ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Titans fans are the greatest fans in all of sports, and BetMGM is celebrating them with a special offer on their favorite team. All you have to do is sign up with BetMGM using the code 1025game100 and make any $1 wager on the Titans game. Once the bet is placed, you'll receive $100 in free bets. It's that simple. That's it. That's all you have to do. Then check out fan-friendly promotions like special odds boosts, early cash-out offers, sweepstakes, giveaways, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com. Use that code 1025game100 to receive $100 when you make any $1 bet on the Titans game. Titans fans, now you're winning with the king of sportsbooks. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets on site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Mortgage rates are on the move, but you can still lower your house payment with my friends at Loan Pronto. Willie here. Call Loan Pronto now and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. So many people are doing this before the year ends. You can refi now. Get a rate with an APR in the low 2s with no junk fees and no closing costs. Even if you refinanced 6 months ago. Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy, virtually no paperwork required, and most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act right now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Rates are still really low. If you're currently in the APR range of over 2.75, call now. You got nothing to lose. See how much you can save by going into the new year. Lower that house payment. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
This Sunday, it's our NFL Game of the Week, brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue.
Let's play some football. Jackson looking to shake and bake. Has the first down.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens host Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings.
Cousins to throw with time to the end zone. Caught and a touchdown.
Pre-game at 11, kickoff at noon.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game.
Hey Nashville, it's Max Kellerman, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Odell Beckham Jr. is out in Cleveland. The Beckham era is officially over. One that started with so much fanfare, so much promise, one of the best receivers in the NFL, heading to the Cleveland Browns. It ends like this, on a Friday morning with the Browns about to officially announce that Beckham is out. Now, this is a long time coming, and certainly for Beckham, this is exactly what he has wanted. He asked for a trade from the team a couple times, including most recently this week. It didn't sound like the Browns got much trade action. This really was about, from Wednesday till today, finalizing his release and making sure that all the financial details were right and perfect. My understanding, guys, of what this is expected to look like is the Cleveland Browns already owed Odell about $8 million on his fully guaranteed contract. They're going to restructure his contract, cut his base salary down to about the minimum or maybe a little bit above, give the rest in a signing bonus. What that does is when he heads to waivers, he is claimable. So some team could actually claim Odell Beckham Jr. for the low price of probably around $1 million. Could one of those teams right up at the top of the claiming order who need receivers, could they claim him and ruin his dreams of being free? We will find out. But what we know right now is that Beckham is out in Cleveland.
Odell Beckham, the number one story on TV this week. Best player Derrick Henry on a top Super Bowl contender out for a while. But let's skip over that because Odell Beckham on the crappy Cleveland Browns has been released essentially.
Well,
and
to be fair, we've been given it a fair amount of airtime as well.
Odell?
Yeah.
The only thing we've talked about with Odell so far is about how Odell is not a story. Like, this is, I won't be surprised if he gets claimed, but I'm betting that he probably won't.
I think he will.
I don't think a team will claim. Maybe the Raiders, because obviously they just lost a wide receiver, and they could probably use the distraction. But I really don't. I don't see this. Floyd used to always say this. And I love this because anytime that a star player gets let go, everybody's always like, what do you think, Jared? Le'Veon Bell, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Jadeveon Clowney, Julio Jones, Dez Bryant. This is now our second turn on the what about Odell Beckham Jr. train? And I'm just going to say no for a lot of reasons. But Floyd used to always say this. Players are only available for one of four reasons. Bad player, bad guy, too much money, hurt. And Odell is pretty much all of those things. Odell Beckham has made too much money, and if, by the way, he becomes a free agent, Odell's going to want some money now. Titans don't have any money, but if he doesn't get claimed, he's going to want a little money because he's Odell. But Odell is not that good of a player. When is the last time Odell Beckham has made an impact play in a game that mattered?
Against the Cowboys.
Has Odell ever made an impact play in a game that mattered? Now, you'd have to go like to 2015 to find that because he hasn't been on a good team since 2015. Odell Beckham has been injured significantly. Odell Beckham's a bad dude. And I'm not saying he's a bad dude like how Henry Ruggs is probably a bad dude. But
I don't know if he's
Beckham,
a bad dude or if he just made a really big bad mistake.
Sorry about Ruggs?
Mm-hmm.
That makes you a bad dude. I
Okay.
mean, those are the kind of actions that make you a bad dude. I mean, it doesn't make you like a Ted Bundy, but it makes you a bad dude.
Like, I think Aaron Hernandez is a bad dude.
Sure. But, I mean, you drive 150 miles an hour and get somebody killed, you're probably a bad dude. So, drinking and driving, I mean, come on now. So, he's not a bad dude like that, but he's a terrible teammate. He is the most selfish player in the NFL.
He's a diva.
And it's even it's a notch above that. I mean, he is and like Randy Moss was a diva, but Randy Moss was good. Odell is not that good. And the only teams that get suckered into doing stuff like this are the dumb teams. That's why Le'Veon Bell signs that big contract with the Jets. And then 2 years later, they hate Le'Veon Bell. And that's why the Cleveland Browns are the team that trades for Odell Beckham and gives up the first-round picks and gives up the safety and gives up the other assets they gave up to get him. That's what the Raiders are, the ones that traded a second-round pick for Antonio Brown. That's what the dumb teams do. And you supposedly are not one of the dumb teams. Now, you did do the Julio thing, but Julio's obviously not as bad of a guy, and really not a bad guy, at least has not been a bad guy here, as compared to Odell Beckham. But, like, it was yesterday. I was floored yesterday when TD was talking about the possibility of bringing in Odell Beckham, because all I needed to see was that his dad posted an 11-minute video on social media of Baker Mayfield that was just trashing the quarterback. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, Vrabel's not putting up with that. Like, you are not bringing that into Mike Vrabel's locker room and expecting him to say, okay, that's okay behavior. And I know we can say, hey, that was his dad. And what's he supposed to do? I mean, that's what his dad said. So we can. And you think that Odell was not okay with that? You think Odell didn't know ahead of time? You think Odell doesn't think that? Odell wants out of Cleveland. LeBron James is tweeting on his behalf. You think Mike Vrabel wants that? You think Mike Vrabel wants LeBron James sending out tweets that are affecting his locker room? Odell Beckham is the circus. And that is like the most anti-Titan thing to do. We asked John Robinson at the Combine 3 years ago. Antonio Brown was out, and you all wanted the Titans to go get Antonio Brown, and it was a discussion that kept happening over and over and over again, and even though Floyd said he wouldn't do it, you all just kept asking and asking and asking. So finally I said to John, hey, there are names out there that are under contract with other teams, so we can't say them, but would you bring in guys that have been essentially bad for their team? And Antonio Brown was bad for his team. He quit on them the last week of the season. And at that point, Mike Tomlin said, you're not playing Sunday. And J-Rob said, I think when you go through this process, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically what he said. When you go through this process, you have to look at a guy's past history. If a guy had an open beer at a college party as a freshman, and since then has been on campus volunteering at the quilt pageant, that's one thing. But if the guy hurts his teammates and is a bad teammate, I don't think that's something we'd be interested in. That's all Odell Beckham has ever done. This team will have no interest in Odell Beckham. Like, the thing about Randy Moss and T.O. is those guys won some games. Like, you can say what you want about T.O., but he took an Eagles team that was probably where the Titans are right now, which is like a divisional round kind of team. And he took them to the Super Bowl. Like, Terrell Owens almost won them that Super Bowl. T.O. was a bad boy. But even all those teams didn't want him anymore. 49ers didn't want him anymore. Eagles didn't want him anymore. Cowboys didn't want him anymore. No. And I haven't seen a single real Titans media member, maybe I'm wrong, I haven't seen a single real Titans media member that has put their hand up and said, they should go get Odell Beckham. But I've seen the fake media, like the fanboy bloggers, GoTeamGo.com, that are like, if you don't think they should claim Odell, you don't get. Oh, okay. Go. I'm sure it's the number one story on GoTitansGo.com. Odell Beckham would be the perfect thing to fill in with Derrick Henry out.
I've actually seen an overwhelming majority of Titans fans saying no.
No Dell.
No Dell.
No Dell Beckham.
I think I saw one tweet today that said, hey, Titans, give him a chance. If he gives them a shot to win more games, then yeah, give him a shot. I saw one tweet today, but in the text line on Twitter, any conversations that are going on around Titans fans, majority of them are absolutely not.
No Dell Beckham Jr.
No Dell Beckham.
No, under no circumstance am I bringing Odell in. There's one thing with like old injured guys that I'm okay with, which is you dictate the terms.
Adrian Peterson.
If you're taking a risk, that's how you dictate the terms.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a bad dude and he comes in here, hat in hand, says, I promise I'll be better. Okay, fine. Here's 1 year, not guaranteed veteran minimum. Act up, gone, see ya. But I don't even want that. I mean, this team, Ryan Tannehill has not played great this year. And yet, you won't find a single guy in that locker room that will say a single bad thing about Ryan Tannehill. Ever. And that's the way they like it. That's how that organization works. The last thing they want is for Odell Beckham to come in here and be like, why am I not getting targeted? And Nick Westbrook-Akina is. And that's what would happen. Because that's happened everywhere. And I'm going to say this for Baker. I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield fan in the world, and I have no idea if Baker's going to be a good quarterback or not. After his first year, they were talking about Baker Mayfield as if he was the next Dan Marino. Then after the second year, they were talking about him like he was a complete bust. Then he got him to the playoffs last year, and they were kind of 50-50 on it. Now he's playing with a torn labrum, and they're like, I don't know if Baker's all that good. I'm like, he's got a torn labrum. He probably shouldn't be playing. But I think Baker's one of those guys that even if it hurts the team, he wants to prove that he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I can be there for my team, and I can, dude, you're hurting the team. That guy, you got to have the doctor say, hey, you got to get the surgery, you got to stay out. But I can at least appreciate that. I mean, the way that Odell has treated Baker, to me, I think that's wrong. I just think by football standards, I think that's wrong.
What has he done to Baker?
His dad put out an 11-minute video basically trashing him.
His dad.
What you think Odell's going to go on record? You get suspended if you do that. Like if Odell comes out and says Baker sucks while he's still under contract with the Browns, you get suspended for conduct detrimental to the team.
Yes.
So he's not going to do that because Odell's not giving any money back now. Those Lamborghinis don't pay for themselves. So I think it's pretty obvious. I'll say this. I think that Scottie Pippen, and I think the Scottie Pippen beef with Michael Jordan is ridiculous. I think Scottie Pippen has a bigger beef or a better reason for his beef with Michael than Odell has for his beef with Baker. Because all Baker's tried to do is win football games. Baker has never come out and said a bad word about Odell. Baker is playing hurt. Baker Mayfield, has done nothing wrong. When Tannehill was in Miami, there was a corner by the last name of Grimes. And the wife was like a radio DJ. When people say, hey, are you a DJ? I get kind of offended because a DJ and a talk show host are two totally different things. But she was I think a morning DJ,
Fun.
Like the Morning Buzz or whatever.
98.1 hits.
Yeah. And so her husband was a DB on the Dolphins. And she tweeted out that the team sucked because Tannehill sucks. And so
oh, yeah, I remember this.
Tannehill has to deal with an entire week of everybody asking him and then the DB. And I remember I was reading Tannehill's comments at the time. And Tannehill's biggest issue was not that she thought that. It was that they as a team have to deal with that. And I'm like, sounds like Tannehill. Say, yeah, I didn't think much of it, but I hate that we as a team have to deal with this.
It's a distraction.
And I have to talk about this and whatever. Well, that's not Vrabel ball now. You coming in here trashing the quarterback. Your dad putting out an 11-minute video of how you suck. That is not Mike Vrabel ball now. I don't even think Taylor Lewan complaining about the fans a couple of weeks ago is Vrabel ball. But that, trashing the quarterback,
that's worse.
That is not how Mike Vrabel operates. We'll get to your phones on this next. 615-737-1025. Now is your chance. If you want them to take Odell Beckham, now's your chance. We'll get to it. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Nothing goes down so smooth and tastes as great as ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. That's right. You've got to ignite the night, and you've got to do it responsibly. And there is no better way to do that than with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Goes down so smooth, and it tastes so great. Be sure to ignite tonight. Tons to celebrate this weekend. Got another wedding I'm going to. I'm going to have to probably bring some Fireball shots with me because that's just how I am. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Please ignite tonight responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Lots of sunshine this afternoon, highs in the 50s. Sunshine continues for the weekend with highs in the 60s. Storms not back in the forecast until the end of next week.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
During Lowe's Provember event, new members of their loyalty program get a welcome kit via mail now through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros, U.S. only.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as the Predators take on the Dallas Stars Wednesday the 10th. Puck drops at 7:30, but the party starts at 7 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Are you interested in starting your own business? Join the Blink Law Entrepreneur Summit on February 2nd for their one-day event to help anyone start a business. Not only will you hear from experienced entrepreneurs from a variety of fields, but all attendees will also get a one-on-one consultation with an attorney who will register your business. You will leave the event with certified documents and an officially registered business. This is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to jumpstart a new business. For more information and to register, go to facebook.com/BlinkLawLLC.
Robbie Stanley.
Coming in off the water. Yeah. Coming in there to tailgate.
Joe Rexroad.
That was fun.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexroad every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company Fireball Hot Take Friday. No Dell Beckham Jr. No, the Titans should not go get him. If it comes out on Monday that the Titans have claimed Odell Beckham, I'm gonna be really sad. Really sad.
Like 911 on my phone, ready to go. Probably.
Like I think that there's special protection this radio show will give John Robinson because this show was built and the success that we've had was built by the GM. And the GM was very close friends with John, and the GM believed in John very much. And so in spite of the fact that John has made some questionable moves, to say the least, I have a hard time to criticize John You claim Odell Beckham. I mean, do you want to win a pair of tickets to see Evanescence and Hailstorm at Bridgestone Arena on Friday, December 3rd? Head over to YouTube and subscribe to the 1025 The Game YouTube page, and you'll enter for a chance to see Evanescence and Hailstorm live. Once you subscribe, email us at promotions@cromwellmedia.com with your YouTube handle. One winner will be chosen on Monday, November 8th. Let's go to the reaction.
Titan Ben texts in, not Indy Ben, Titan Ben, texts in and says, how come it's not as big of a deal when Tom Brady's dad does it, but it's a big deal when Odell Beckham's dad does it?
I do think it's probably a big deal when Brady's dad does it, but when Brady's dad does something, we know where it's coming from, right? Like when Alex Guerrero comes out the week before the Buccaneers-Patriots game and says Bill Belichick didn't treat Brady like a star, wah, 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 we know where it's coming from, right?
Brady?
Yes!
Then why is that different?
You think Alex Guerrero is going on the record and saying anything without the permission of his one client and his business partner?
Then why is that different? Because we know that this is coming from Odell Beckham.
Because people are trying to tell us that it's not coming from Odell.
Okay.
Well, if Tom Brady...
Then this would be equally as bad from Tom Brady's side of things.
So all Tom Brady's dad said is that Tom wants to go up there and beat the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that he wants to show them, but Tom's not on the Patriots anymore. So that doesn't affect the Buccaneers. This is, let's use the same analogy. Let's just say this is coming from Odell. Just like I think when it comes from Tom Brady Sr., it probably is coming from Tom Brady. And when it comes from Jeff Darlington, it probably is coming from Tom Brady. And when it comes from Alex Guerrero, it definitely is coming from Tom Brady. Let's just say that this is... You ever hear Tom Brady Sr. trash Mike Evans?
No.
Ever trash Rob Gronkowski?
No.
Ever trash a current player or coach of Brady's?
No, I haven't.
That's the difference.
What did he say exactly? Because I watched the video. I didn't think that he interjected any of his own comments. I just thought it was game film.
Odell's dad?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the context? Here's 11 minutes.
I understand that.
Here's 11 minutes I'm releasing for you to see. Like, I don't know what Odell's dad's tech skills are. I'll tell you this. Jared's dad would not be able to cut up an 11-minute video of game film. So my guess is somebody did this for Odell, and Odell's dad put it out there. So this is 11 minutes of my quarterback sucking. And you don't have a problem with that.
I'm not saying I don't have a problem with that, but it's not like he came out and said Baker is the absolute worst, running his name through the mud. What Odell Beckham's dad did was bad.
Do you have to say that Baker's the absolute worst to get your point across that that's exactly what you mean?
Not necessarily.
Well, that's what this is.
It's bad. Yes, I know that it's bad. But to go on and say that he's trashing Baker, I don't know if he's necessarily trashing Baker. He's disrespecting Baker for sure.
How many touchdown passes were included in the 11 minutes?
I don't think any.
Okay.
And that was the point of the video.
Right. That's trashing him. Like, hey, here's all the bad things he did. Trashed him. Just like Scottie Pippen, right? Scottie Pippen saying, Michael did this, Michael didn't do that. One of the stories in the Scottie Pippen book, which I couldn't give two poops about, one of the stories in the Scottie Pippen book is that the official scorer at Chicago Stadium one time came up to Jordan and showed him the stat sheet before he made it official. And that Scottie was mad because Scottie thought that he deserved a steal where he tapped the ball away and Michael picked it up and they would fight over steals. And so Scottie was like, see, Michael cheated me out, which is really sad and pathetic, right?
Yeah.
But what Scottie is doing there is he's basically telling you that Michael's a liar. And that Michael did this to me and Michael did that to, and we all know why it is. Because Scottie felt disrespected in the Last Dance. So even though I don't care about who gets credited for a steal 30 years ago at Chicago Stadium, and you don't care about who gets credited for a steal, we know the angst of this book that we've talked about on this show, that I feel like every show has talked about, is Scottie disrespecting Michael, right?
Yes.
That's this. The vehicle is what it is.
Yes, it's a very bad look. I'm with you there. Another texter texts in and says, so what Ray Lewis did made him a bad dude. Odell isn't a bad dude. Richie Incognito is a bad dude. Don't push those narratives on people who just made bonehead mistakes.
I mean, how would you define a bad person?
I mean, there's different tiers of bad people. Somebody who murders someone is a bad person.
O.J. Simpson, bad person.
Bad person.
But that doesn't mean that people who don't murder people aren't also bad people.
Yes.
I feel like Odell's a bad dude. I feel like Odell is never grateful for the opportunities that are given to him. I feel like Odell is incredibly selfish. I feel like Odell is, so selfish to the point that he doesn't mind ruining a team. He doesn't build relationships with other people. That's not a good dude. That's not the kind of dude you bring in here.
He's selfish.
Yes, and that's the opposite of Vrabel. And selfish is bad.
Yes.
That's this idea of these people. See, this is that the Fox News whataboutism. So it's like such and such is bad. Well, what about, it's like the Aaron Rodgers thing. Aaron lied to everybody, right?
Yes.
And now Aaron is trying to lie about how he didn't lie. And people are playing Aaron's comments, which are ridiculous, and they're talking about how Aaron lied. Whatever you think of the vaccine doesn't matter. Aaron lied. He said he was immunized when he was asked if he was vaccinated. He lied. Aaron lied. And then there are people that are like, the media is talking more about Aaron Rodgers than they are Henry Ruggs. Well, here's a couple things here. First of all, Aaron Rodgers is about 5 billion times more famous than Henry Ruggs. Number two, Henry Ruggs is not a polarizing topic. Everybody believes the same thing.
What he did
was bad, and he deserves to go to jail. The end.
And he is going to jail.
The end. Guess what? They're talking more about Aaron Rodgers' vaccine comments right now than they're talking about what Ted Bundy did too. And guess what? That was wrong. But this whataboutism of Richie Incognito's a bad guy, but Odell's not. Odell's a bad guy. Odell is not someone you want around your football team.
He's not a bad guy in the same way that the example that you brought up, Ted Bundy is a bad guy. Odell Beckham Jr. just has a very, very large personality that is incredibly polarizing, and he wants all of the attention to be on him.
And he's not even good.
And we go back to what we talked about with Julio Jones. A lot of fans were worried about, okay, is Julio going to be okay with splitting touches with A.J. Brown? Is he going to be okay being that wide receiver?
I will say this, though. Our midday
too?
show, and Chris Sanders thinks Vrabel hates Julio Jones.
I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Vrabel may not like Julio Jones, but I don't think that's because of anything that Vrabel said in a press conference. But there was so much of our conversation whenever Julio Jones did come to the Titans was, is he going to be okay not being the number one guy? It seems like things have been going smoothly as far as we are concerned in terms of Julio Jones in the locker room. But if you're concerned about that with Julio, why would you not be concerned about that with Odell? Because I think that's way more of an issue with Odell.
Yeah, Odell. I'm sorry. I'm not the splitting hairs of Odell's a bad guy. I don't want Odell on my team because he doesn't care about your team. He cares about Odell. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next here, it is a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Coming up next on the program, the Mike Vrabel special. Is that at play this weekend? We'll discuss next. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
The voice of reason.
Now, you may say, well, a quarterback is more important than a running back. That's fine. You can say whatever you want.
The voice of the fan.
Even if we have to develop him while he's playing, I just want a boring first-round pick.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Well, here we are at Pour Vu. Any great words of wisdom as we peruse the 10,000 square feet of wine, spirits, beers for our tailgating and upcoming holiday parties?
One thing, great minds drink alike, huh?
Oh, nice. Wow, look at all the wine.
Hey, don't forget to buy a bottle from Mom. Remember, you're the reason she drinks.
Hey!
Hey, check it out. Pour Vu has their own app, curbside, and home delivery. Tonight, I will be having my favorite drink. It's called A Lot.
I only drink on days that begin with T. Today, tomorrow.
Well, you're in luck because Pour Vu's new tasting bar is in effect Thursday through Saturday, right next to the humidor.
Party supplies with mixers, hard to find small batch specialties, and tequila.
I am telling you, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy tequila, and that's kind of the same thing, right?
Tequila, because no good story ever starts with that one time I ate salad.
Right? Pour Vu means for you. They really have the best selection, service, and knowledge we didn't find at the big box stores.
May all your days be filled with umbrella drinks.
Pour Vu, open 7 days a week at Indian Lake Boulevard, exit 7 off Vietnam Vets in Hendersonville.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic.
Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Nashville SC Stadium is arriving in 2022, and season tickets are on sale now. With just 150 feet between the pitch and the last row, you'll be right there in the action no matter where you sit. If you thought soccer in Nashville was a party already, you ain't seen nothing yet. So come on in, grab a seat, and stay a while as we open a new era of Nashville sports. For more information on season tickets at the new Nashville SC Stadium, visit nashvillesc.com/22ticks.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics is conveniently located where you live and work. With over 10 locations in Nashville and surrounding communities, Houston physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, as well as many other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they are strictly adhering to all CDC guidelines for both their patients and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and to see a list of all Houston physicians and specialties, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee ensures children and teens, especially those who need us most, are ready to read, ready for class, ready to graduate, ready for their career, and ready to serve the community. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios. It's still the best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. We almost never come back 7 minutes after an hour.
But we've been riled up today. We've got some news.
I have been just rocking and rolling on this Odell Beckham stuff. I mean, it is. Whew. I mean, like, I'm so tired of Odell Beckham. And, like, the thing I shouldn't do is talk about it, right?
Well, yeah, because you were complaining the other day about how everyone talks about Odell Beckham. We've talked a good bit about Odell Beckham.
But I just feel
like being in a city where Odell Beckham does not play.
I used to always get mad because I'd watch TV and it'd be like, what do you think Le'Veon Bell means when he says that he'll hold out and not make that $17 million with the Steelers? And I just wanted one of these guys on these TV shows, one of these panelists to go, that means Odell's stupid. Or, Le'Veon Bell's stupid. Like, but no one will say it. But it's stupid. Like, he gave away $14 million.
It was not a smart business move, no.
Like, stupid. But no one will say it on TV, and I don't know why. So then why are you wasting your time? It drives me nuts.
Well,
like,
okay, because
I saw Max Kellerman's face. I'm like, just say it's stupid, Max.
Because if Max Kellerman says it, then that's the headline. And then Max Kellerman doesn't get access to anything in the Steelers locker room or with anything in the Steelers organization.
Who cares?
What do you mean who cares? That's his job.
Is it?
To have good relationships with people around the league?
Who does
Probably.
Skip Bayless have a good relationship with?
I don't know.
I think it's all... I'll tell you this. Like, I do a lot of digging and researching, like trends and stuff like that. And I can tell you this right now. I'll give you an example. We since you've been here, how long have you been on the radio station for?
7, 8 months.
Have we had a single head coach or general manager of the Titans or Predators on this show since you've been here?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Which is crazy, right? Like drive time afternoon show, incredibly popular show, and we haven't had any of these coaches on.
We've had like press conferences that were live when we were on air, but not like just them calling into the show and we're chit-chatting.
The coach can't say, yeah, I don't want 102.5 The Game to air this press conference. Like, they can't do that.
No.
So that's part of it. But it's because I don't care about kissing rear ends to have people on my show. You know, like there are some people that are like, oh, I don't want to go on that show. I used to joke with somebody over at the Titans, and I said, you know, what's funny is that if Floyd had been GM and I had been on the air, now I was 14, so, you know, we're talking like the me now and the GM Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he would have been interested in doing a radio show with me 20 years later? Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
But then obviously, you know, we're great buddies and everything else. But what I've learned is that stuff doesn't really matter. Like getting the coach on your show. If I can get the coach on the show for 10 minutes, you will have more listeners for that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But if I tell the truth for 20 hours a week, we'll have more listeners over the 20 hours a week. And that's why I think if you look at maybe a channel that has maybe gone a little bit too much towards pom-pom waving, maybe you'll notice that results for them haven't been great lately, and maybe you'll see why. And I feel bad because they're good people, but you just, you know, that's kind of the thing. So maybe Max Kellerman shouldn't have worried about calling Le'Veon Bell's decision stupid, and maybe he'd still be on First Take.
I don't know if it was necessarily Max Kellerman or the network that he works for.
I would agree. But I just wish people would say it because that's what it is. Just like Aaron Rodgers' comments today about the vaccine and why he didn't get it. And Aaron Rodgers talking about, hey, you know, I talked to Joe Rogan after and I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, like you broke your collarbone 4 years ago, right? So did you not talk to the Packer doctors then?
Did you ask Joe Rogan what you should do with your
Joe,
collarbone?
What do I do? Somebody get Joe Rogan on the phone for Derrick Henry. No.
But that's another thing with Aaron Rodgers. Just tell the truth, Aaron. It started over the summer with a whole debacle with the Packers, and it was smoke and mirrors, and it was all this BS that he was spewing about the philosophy of the team, and he loves the people who works there, but they have philosophical difference. Just tell the truth, Aaron. I didn't want to get vaccinated. I didn't get vaccinated. Sorry.
Do you remember how we talked about the Aaron, like the end result, and I said Aaron doesn't have an exit strategy? Like
so
when
he was just spewing stuff
with the Packers.
He panicked.
He didn't have an exit strategy because the Packers said, we're not going to trade you. And I said, here's what's going to happen. The Packers are going to make up something that's not really a concession. They'll pretend like it's a concession, and it'll feel like Aaron won. And here comes Adam Schefter sitting there saying, the Packers have agreed to think about releasing Aaron at the end of the year. They've agreed to think about it.
Okay, fine. Just give me time to think, and then I'll get back to you.
I have agreed.
But that's a story.
I have agreed to think about giving my higher salary to Caroline Fenton for this upcoming football season.
I appreciate you thinking about that.
I
would advise you to think on it a little bit harder because I would.
Breaking news, I've thought about it. The answer is no.
But that's a story. That the fact that the Packers have considered it.
Are
that's
they considering
a story.
it?
Whether they were or not.
Him?
Whether they were or not. It was a story yesterday that the Browns were considering thinking about letting Odell Beckham Jr. go.
Well, that was a story because that meant that they were going to do it. The Aaron thing, they're not letting Aaron go for free.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
But they're not letting him go for free.
No. But that's why it was a story.
Right, but like I was telling you,
the
it was all
Packers
BS.
thought maybe, possibly, in some alternate universe, we would consider it.
Right,
that's
but
a story.
That's all bullcrap. Like,
yeah, I know. But people love bullcrap.
Let's go to your phones. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. That is so true. Bob is up next on Odell Beckham Jr. Go ahead, Bob.
How you doing, y'all? I got to kind of side with Caroline here and how you define Odell Beckham. I'm going to give you 6 players. And
I don't care. I don't want to hear the whataboutism about what about Johnny? What about Johnny? He's a bad guy, too. We're not talking about Johnny.
Hey, let the caller talk.
Believe me, I do not want Beckham on our team. Believe me. Promise. But what I'm saying is, like, you got, like, Pac-Man people on one side, and you got, think about Odell, who hasn't really done anything violent or anything, or, you know, and Johnson, they're just prima donnas that complain all the time, and why complain about what they don't get? But I don't consider them a bad person because they don't hurt people like Pac-Man, Greg Hardy, Ruggs, this kind of thing. So I think that's where the difference is. People are talking about
thank you, Bob.
bad person.
I guess in that case, Taylor Lewan's a bad guy because he punched somebody in college, and Odell Beckham's not.
I don't want to split hairs about what makes someone a bad guy or not.
This whataboutism?
Henry Ruggs driving 156 miles an hour while double the legal limit and killing someone because of it, that's bad. Okay, that is bad. Odell Beckham Jr. being a disruption in the locker room, yes, that's bad. Like, I'm not here to split hairs about what makes a person a bad person and not a bad person.
Like when Floyd said...
Yes, they're different things, and they're both bad.
When Floyd unveiled the 4 reasons why someone gets traded, bad player, bad guy, too much money, injured. Bad guy doesn't mean violent crimes only. Bad guy means bad guy to have around your team. So even though Odell Beckham doesn't have dogs fighting in his backyard like Michael Vick, does not mean that he's not a bad guy in the sense that that's what Floyd was referring to. And all of you out there know that. This is like some childish, well, you technically don't mean vaccinated when you say immunized kind of talk. Like, Aaron, we know what you meant when we said it. And I get this with Aaron, because I watched part of Aaron's interview today with Pat McAfee, in which Aaron was talking about kind of why he lied and then lied about lying. And I'm like, I get the idea of saying to yourself, okay, so basically everybody in the media made such a big deal about people who made a personal choice not to get vaccinated. They vilified everybody, and I just didn't want to have to deal with it. I understand that. Mm-hmm. And there is some truth to that. I don't know about you. I have friends who I consider to be smart people who are not vaccinated. And their reasons don't really make a lot of sense to me.
But that's their choice.
But I know that I'm not going to change their mind, so that those are their reasons. Okay? And I do think there's some truth there on the Aaron front about, the media, and that includes us, vilifying people like Carson Wentz. And people like Kyrie Irving and things of that. There's a lot of truth to that. But, like, the idea of, now I'm going to lie about it some more, that's
my thing, is just tell the truth, Aaron. Quit trying to, pull out this whole whatever he's doing.
But he won't do it.
Just tell the truth.
He can't do it.
Own up to it. Apologize.
That's why he's got no, that's why he's got no family. Most of the time when you talk about personal issues, most people don't really know and they can't really speak to it. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty well documented that I know both brothers pretty well. And I just tell you, they're great guys. They're really great guys, both of them. And so I said this before all of this stuff happened, but I've said this. If you knew those two guys and you knew that Aaron, they don't really want Aaron in their lives and Aaron doesn't want them in, you would know that Aaron has to be the problem if you knew those two guys. And then this is why. Because it's always about himself. He's never wrong. He's always right. And you're always wrong. And you're always wrong for questioning it. And that's what that is. Let's go back to your phone. 615-737-1025. We'll do that next. We were all over the place in that segment. Coming up next is the Mike Vrabel special a possibility on Sunday? We'll discuss that as well. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
It's game day in Nashville.
He's in the cross in front, and Saros made a huge stop. Wow, what a save.
The Predators look to return to the win column against the Vancouver Canucks. Pre-game at 8, face-off at 9 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Lowe's Provember event is back through November 24th. Get top values on pro brands like DeWalt and Spyder. Lowe's, the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with Social Furniture and save up to 70% off all furniture. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button electric and wall away. They have all colors to choose from for your comfort watching any hockey game. All of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. They have same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Let me tell you, the most expensive mistake a homebuyer can make is not shopping for the best mortgage. Hey, I'm Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's a fact. Homebuyers who choose Loan Pronto save an average of $3,500. That is a ton of money for furniture or moving expenses. How do we do it? First, we don't charge our clients thousands in junk lender fees and closing costs, and our all-digital platform streamlines the process so you close faster and easier. Realtors love working with us, and we will work with your existing realtor, but don't make a decision about the loan until you call us. Listen, not all mortgages are created equal, and it pays to get a second opinion. Even if you've already started the process, we promise to beat your current offer, or we will pay you $1,000 for your time. So check us out at loanpronto.com or call us today at 615-499-5780. Lower rates, lower costs, and a stress-free experience. Again, loanpronto.com or call us at 615-499-5780.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
It's football season, and Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is here to serve you. Right now, they're running a tune-up special for one system for only $55. You heard that right. A great tune-up special for only $55. One of the many ways you can save at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. You get 6 months no-interest financing available on repairs. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, locally owned and operated, offering premium service without the premium price. Visit springhillac.com or call them at 615-778-8855.
This is Jamie Foxx. If you're 45 or older, you need to get yourself screened for colon cancer. Don't make the mistake of waiting until you have symptoms. Get screened for colon cancer. Learn how at standuptocancer.org/colon cancer.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
You enjoy a challenge of going up against a guy like Jalen?
I'm just going out there just being me, man. I don't look at, he has to cover me. I don't go out there and be like, okay, Jalen's this, that, whatever he talks, whatever it is. I'm lining up and playing football every play. You got to deal with me for 4 quarters. I mean, it's not hard. I don't look no more into it. You know, like I said, I've been doing this for a while, and I don't never okay, how can I beat this guy? How can I beat this guy? I'm just going to go out there and give my best on every play for 4 quarters. So
what about the antics that he brings?
It don't matter about antics, man. I ain't into all that going back and forth with, you know what I'm saying? I'm here to play football. This is football. This ain't no street fight. This ain't none of that. You know what I mean? I'm just playing football.
Julio Jones, and I understand what Julio's saying. Hey, what do I think about going against him? He's got to cover me. If I hadn't hosted the radio show, though, in 3 weeks, and I was getting out there to do a radio show, I think I'd probably say, hey, I'm just excited to be out here on the radio, and then I'd let the radio show do the talking before I start talking about their all-pro corner. I think I'd let the results speak for themselves.
I think he handled it the right way.
He handled it okay.
Just go out there and play football.
I mean,
what else is he supposed to say?
I guess I have an issue with Julio sitting there acting like, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a great player. Everybody give me the respect when he can't get himself on the field. It's like, why don't you just try? He's got to deal with me for 4 quarters. I hope it's 4 quarters.
Fair.
Because it's been a lot of not 4 quarters lately.
I think I would also get fed up, though, that it's look at this huge challenge that you have in front of you, this wonderful player, this all-pro player, blah, 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 blah. How are you going to handle it? I think I'd get a little annoyed with it, too.
Or maybe you can just do what everybody else does when they get asked the exact same questions. Say, hey, he's a great player. He's
just going to go out there and play football.
Very hard to get out. Yeah, the idea of hey, he's got to deal with me for 4 quarters. I actually think Jalen's dealing with AJ. If I was coach,
probably
Jalen would be dealing with AJ, because Julio's made 1 good catch over the last 3 weeks against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
The ball off the helmet or whatever it was, the pass interference that he ended up catching was a great catch. Made a nice little move on the Chiefs. That's it. Biggest game of the season, where was Julio? Didn't see him. So I guess I just like the cockiness of, I've been doing this for a long time. He's got to deal with me for 4 quarters. He's got to, Julio, you're not living up to your end of the bargain. Now, in your head, you may think that you are all that in a bag of chips, but so far you have not been all that in a bag of chips right now. And I find it frustrating that you have not been that when all the hype was that you would be that, and you haven't been that.
I think he's also frustrated by that as well.
Well, then acknowledge it. But I'm not sure he wants to do that. You know what? Nobody wants to. When you sit there and talk about it, shows weakness, and I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure he's tired of all that too. But this is the reality of the situation. I just hope Julio can get through 4 quarters. And honestly, if I was coaching it this week, I'm not sure I would put Julio out there for all 4 quarters. If I'm not going to have Nate Davis or Taylor Lewan, and I was worried, about some of this stuff. I may, and I'm not one on punting games because you only get 17 of them. But let's say Taylor and Nate Davis is out. Taylor didn't practice today. He's questionable. AJ didn't practice today. He's questionable. I may hold Julio back 1 more week.
I mean, if this was the Colts, get out there, Julio. Do what you need to do. But this isn't the Colts.
No, and the Saints at home is a much winnable game.
Much more winnable, yeah.
Let's go to Daniel, who's up next here on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, guys. I wanted to know what you thought about the possibility of Jim Schwartz having something special for Matt Stafford, given their history together.
So, thank you for your call. I'm sure Stafford faced him when he was in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are things that Schwartz knows about Stafford. That was his quarterback. But all these guys go around so much that, if you played Mariota, for example, are there things that you would know about Mariota that other people don't know about Mariota that would help you?
Maybe.
They played Mariota played the Falcons a couple of years ago when Mike Mularkey was on the coaching staff, and you would figure that Mike Mularkey would know something, and Marcus tore him apart. So I'm not sure in this league that really matters much because everybody goes everywhere. Even if Vrabel doesn't leave here, one of the assistant coaches is going to leave here and go somewhere else. It's like last year when they played Green Bay, did Matt LaFleur know something about Derrick Henry? I don't know. So I don't really read too much into that. And I'm not sure we should read too much into that. Plus, Matthew Stafford has had 15 coaches in the NFL. Schwartz was just the first one.
Yeah, players bounce around a lot. Does it hurt? No, but I don't know how much it would really help.
Would it make a difference?
Maybe. I'm not counting it out, but I'm not going to count on it.
That I struggle with, is the idea if it would make a difference. What do we have in the text line?
One texter checks in and says, Julio didn't even come off as cocky. That was more of he's a corner, I'm a receiver. It's not my job to cover him for 4 quarters. It's his to cover my position.
There's probably something to that.
I think I side with the texter a bit on this. And, Julio probably should be cocky. Not to the point where it's destructive for him or destructive in the locker room. But I don't necessarily want a guy going out there and thinking, well, whatever happens, Jalen Ramsey, great player. If he covers me well and I'm not able to catch the ball, then so what?
I'll say this. You got to be cocky to do certain jobs.
Yes.
Wide receiver's one of them.
This is
because
one of them.
You may be open every play and not catch the football. I do understand that. Because I feel like I kind of have a job where you have to be a little bit cocky in order to do it. Because there's going to be somebody out there who tells you that you suck.
You need thick skin.
There's going to be somebody with the advent of Twitter and everything else that's going to be out there that tells you that you're no good. I'm sure you hear it probably in a different form than I do, where I'll hear things like, Jared Stillman is an asshat. And I'm sure you'll hear things like, you don't know anything about sports, something like that.
I get it frequently.
Kind of coded because you're a woman.
Yeah.
They're so I think you have to arrogance probably not the right word. It's like I get told every day how bad I suck, right?
You need thick skin.
There's a lot of years and data and things that say that I don't suck. So I don't need to worry about somebody telling me that. So I understand it. And I think like quarterback is one of those jobs and coach is one of those jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't listen to the fans and you got to be a little arrogant. You got to think. Like Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, for example. And I like Clark a lot. I think he's a good guy. I don't know if Clark's good enough to change that program, given where they are. But Clark has to think that he's the genius that can fix Vanderbilt football.
You have to be, or else you're going to get completely torn apart.
No chance. If you don't think you can do it, no shot.
I got advice very early on. You make a list of people who you give a flip about. The people who actually can make a difference in your life. Your boss, your family, your friends, your co-host.
Who's your list?
Ryan, you.
Is Ryan ahead of me?
In no particular order. Just people whose criticisms I should actually take to heart. You, Ryan, friends, family, significant other, nobody else. Like professors, mentors. If you're not on that list, then whatever you have to say to me can't hurt me.
What does Dylan in Nashville know about talk radio?
Not necessarily about talk radio, but just like in life. If I do something that hurts him and he tells me that it hurts him, then I'm going to take that to heart.
I'm just saying, if we're like doing something and I'm like, why did you stop doing this? I thought it was pretty good on the radio show. You're like, well, Dylan in Nashville told me that. Then I'm going to be like, why are you listening to Dylan in Nashville
Dylan's
about
criticisms do not play into the radio show, and Dylan and I's relationship doesn't necessarily concern Ryan.
Has Dylan accepted my $100 Kentucky plus 17 that he was throwing out there the other day?
I will have to circle back with him on that.
Adam in Portland is up next. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Adam.
Jared, I haven't called you names on Twitter in a long time, so it's been months. So I'm proud of that.
Statute of limitations.
I'm proud of that.
Well, you've gotten a lot better. You used to be awful, and you still have your moments where you're pretty bad. But for the most part, I love the show. I just I don't miss it. But I'm kind of curious about all three of y'all, you and Miss Caroline and Ian, what you had to think about the chance, because I keep hearing we don't really have to have it. It's an NFC game. What's the chances that the Rams overlook us this week and that the Titans – have to pass the football? Yeah, they're probably, even if AP's got something left, he's probably not going to be perfect game one. So what's the chances that the Rams are like, yeah, they're going to be awful, and they overlook us?
This is me. Thank you for the call. We'll go around the room. I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance the Rams get cocky.
I mean, I do think that there's a chance because who is up next? I want to say maybe Arizona.
No, they play 49ers on Monday Night Football.
49ers on Monday Night Football.
Because I just recorded that FanDuel ad.
Yes. 49ers on Monday Night Football, and then they have a bye. I mean, it's very likely that they could be looking at this game, a Derrick Henry-less Titans and a not great 49ers team, and then a bye. Let's get past these two games. Let's get healthy, and then we get a week to recover. I think it's very much so a possibility. I'm not going to bank on it, but I'm not going to count it out by any means.
Ian?
Always a possibility, for sure. And
I mean, we knew last week the Colts were not going to overlook the Titans going into that game.
No. And if they did, then Frank Reich is way worse than we even give him credit for.
Dude, I think Frank Reich stinks.
But at least he didn't overlook the Titans. I mean, that's your one job.
I love that he's coached the Colts. Because I think he is such a doofus.
And you love that Carson Wentz is the quarterback.
And you know what's crazy is I actually used to think Reich was a good coach. I've never thought, I've never been a Wentz guy.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think Reich was a real good coach. Then I started seeing things, and I was like, this guy goes for it on every fourth down.
Yeah, it's the Lane Kiffin syndrome.
Oh, goodness. Drew is up next. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Drew.
Hey, I want to see what your thoughts are, Jared, on Westbrook, Akina, Pruitt, and Ferguson. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you for the call. Westbrook Akina is a decent role player. You throw him the ball, he'll catch it. If you're going to expect Westbrook Akina to become Derek Mason, it's not going to happen. Ferguson, to me, is kind of a disappointment. Ferguson, I hadn't really been talked into this, though people were trying to talk me into it, that he could be a starting tight end. He's really not. He's a role player. And what he is he's a big receiver. That's what he is. He's not a tight end because he doesn't block. So he's a big receiver, been slowed by the knee injury. I think that Tannehill does trust him, and I think he'll make some big catches down the stretch. Pruitt, I think, is the best tight end on the roster, And I think when we talk about the 34 touches a game that the Titan running backs average, with Derek accounting for 30 of those touches a game, knowing that you can't ask the combination of McNichols, Peterson, and Deontay Foreman to carry it 30 times, I do think that perhaps Pruitt should get some more of those touches. So if we're splitting up all the touches there, I do think I'd give some to Michael Pruitt. But as far as like being excited that one of those guys could be the next Frank Wycheck or Derek Mason, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to be, your all-pro tight end / wide receivers, but they're solid role players. They're there to catch the ball when you need them to.
We'll hit the headlines with Caroline and do that next. Invigorate Health, online at invigoratehealthtn.com. Look, the new year is coming, and I know everybody has that New Year's resolution to lose weight. Get started on it now with invigoratehealthtn.com. They have the new FDA-approved semaglutide, which has been a prescription that doctors have been prescribing for years for diabetes. It is now approved by the FDA for weight loss. I read an article in Men's Health magazine talking about it being the breakthrough drug. And I have even looked up, the stock has soared because this may be the first step to an obesity medication. If your goal is going to be to lose weight and you're worried that the holidays are going to crush you before you even get started, give my friends at Invigorate Health a call. InvigorateHealthTN.com. They've got other great therapies like hormone replacement, so testosterone or other things. I got my blood work done at Invigorate Health, and I found out I've got great testosterone, great kidney function, great this, great that. Got some other things to work on, and I like knowing. And that's what happens. If you're not feeling right, go to my friends at Invigorate Health. They will figure it out for you. And if you are trying to lose weight, they have semaglutide. Just do a Google search on semaglutide. Read about it. Call my friends at Invigorate Health. InvigorateHealthTN.com. Get that New Year's resolution started early with my friends at Invigorate Health.
Hi, I'm Jussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Stopped by Saros. Hook kicked away and taken now by Mikhail Gronlund.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hey, it's Jared for Boll & Branch. It's gift giving time, and I hope you're ready to get your loved ones the quality of a great night's sleep. We spend 1/3 of our lives in bed, so pure organic cotton sheets from Boll & Branch make a truly special gift. Boll & Branch has fantastic sheets that are comfortable and of a great quality, and it's all at a fair price. I know this because I have Boll & Branch sheets, and I absolutely love every single night's sleep I get. Boll & Branch has the most comfortable cotton organic sheets on the market. Husband and wife team Scott and Missy Tannen founded Boll & Branch to create a new standard of bedding by doing things the right way and not the easy way. So get those signature hem sheets for your loved one and give that great gift of comfort. Treat yourself and your loved ones to the new standard in bedding from Boll & Branch. Their gifts come wrapped and ready in their special holiday packaging. Order by December 19th for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. Get 20% off your first set of sheets with promo code Jared at bollandbranch.com. That's BOLL and branch.com, promo code Jared. See site for details. Exclusions may apply.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Saturday night.
Hand it off for Dell. Touchdown Ducks!
The Oregon Ducks look to stay in the college football playoff hunt when they visit the Washington Huskies.
Touchdown Washington!
Kickoff at 6:30
on ESPN,
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Pre-game show, 5 o'clock. That's right, 5 o'clock for the pre-game show on Sunday night before the Titans take on the L.A. Rams. We got some college football games to pick. Caroline's coming up. Chad Withrow coming up. Go to thegamenashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. The new deal this week is $30 gift card for only $15 to 312 Pizza Company in Germantown. 312 Pizza Company serves the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. Get your deal at thegamenashville.com/deals. Time for headlines. Caroline.
We're spanning the sports world. It's Headlines with Caroline on Stillman and Company, right here on Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
One person who we just love to hate on this show, Aaron Rodgers. Some developments from him today. He went on the Pat McAfee show this morning. He said he did not lie when discussing his vaccination status. He's followed almost all protocols for unvaccinated players and said that he did not get the vaccination because he is allergic to an ingredient in 2 of the 3 approved vaccines, the Moderna and Pfizer, the mRNA vaccines. He said that he underwent a treatment designed to raise immunity and appealed to the NFL to be considered vaccinated, but lost that appeal, which in an earlier article earlier this week said it was a lengthy back and forth between the league and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers said, "I believe strongly in bodily autonomy and the ability to make choices for your body, not to have to acquiesce to some woke culture or crazed group of individuals who say you have to do something."
So what's really crazy about this is there's a lot of people that are going to agree with Aaron. And when Aaron was asked about not wearing a mask, he talked about, well, I think it's stupid anyways. Well, unfortunately, that's not how rules work.
The rules are the rules. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but you belong to an organization that has rules.
And you signed.
You have to follow them.
He's the player rep.
You get millions of dollars a year.
Forget about that. He's the player rep in which the union agreed to the rules with the league. Like, you may think it's dumb, but I think it's dumb that the ball gets fumbled out of the back of the end zone, gets given to the other team, put it to 20. I think it's dumb.
There are a lot of dumb rules.
But you wouldn't take the football back and say, no, I think it's a dumb rule that the ball goes out of the back of the end zone, so I want to put it down at the 3-yard line, and it's still our ball.
Has anyone tried that? Worth a shot.
Interesting if they tried.
Worth a shot.
The thing that bothers me about the Aaron stuff is that by talking about woke culture and cancel culture and things like that, those are buzzwords that will resonate with certain people. But isn't Aaron, trying to be woke? Isn't his fiance, Mrs. Woke or whatever?
His fiance was arrested a few years ago when they wanted to lay a pipeline in one of the Native American lands. I don't know exactly what it was. It was a big story a few years ago that the government wanted to lay a few pipelines in native land, and she went to jail because she protested against it.
I'm not a huge believer in the Tucker Carlson show, but I've always joked that if I got fired for saying something, the first thing I'd do is I'd go on that show, as a joke.
Uh-huh.
But that kind of feels like what Aaron's doing, right? Aaron, talked about being immunized because he wanted people to think that he was vaccinated when he wasn't. He's engaged to the, apparently this I don't know her, but apparently they say she's really woke.
Shailene Woodley.
She's
an actress.
I have no idea.
That's all I know about her politics is that a few years ago she felt very passionate about not laying pipelines.
And now he's playing the other side of it?
I don't know.
And here's the thing that bothers me about Aaron, because Aaron's smart enough. Aaron Rodgers knows that by saying these buzzwords and stuff, saying I talked to Joe Rogan, saying that if you read the Israeli study, saying like he knows that that's going to resonate with people that will come to his defense. And he's also smart enough to know that he lied. And so what he's doing is he's lying about lying, but he's getting sympathy from people by using their buzzwords and their buzz theories and things like that. And that, it just feels very disingenuous that Aaron continues to kind of lie all the time about lying. It kind of feels like Aaron's a liar. What's next?
Just don't lie. A little bit of Thursday night football news. New York Jets backup quarterback, who was their starting quarterback last night, Mike White, suffered a right forearm injury when he took a hit from DeForest Buckner while throwing a 19-yard touchdown pass to Elijah Moore in the first quarter. Tied the game 7-7, but he couldn't grab the football anymore. So Josh Johnson, Jets' third-string quarterback, came in the entire second half. The Colts scored 21 unanswered points between the second and third quarters. He stepped in to throw for 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, and interception. Pretty solid night for him, to be honest. The second half, the Jets fell behind 42-10, climbed back, but ultimately ended up losing 45-30. But
what a disgrace that the Titans lost to that team. What a disgrace. What a disgrace that the Titans lost that game. What's next?
University of Tennessee has finished its year-long internal investigation into the rules violations.
This one got me.
So, yeah, the year-long investigation that University of Tennessee put upon themselves in the football program, which led to the firing of Jeremy Pruitt, ultimately concluded that the University of Tennessee will not impose a bowl ban. So in a statement, the university said that it was moving forward with a focus on rebuilding our football program and supporting student athletes, and that it would hold themselves accountable considering the nature of the violations, our prompt investigation and corrective personnel, the new recruiting environment, and other factors. So the university does plan to self-impose other penalties, so recruiting reduction and scholarship, other recruiting restrictions, but the NCAA can still impose whatever ban they'd like on the university, but the university will not self-impose.
You know why I think the university's not self-imposing a bowl ban?
Why?
Because they're going to go to a bowl. So it's like, hey, if we were bad, we would say, hey, bowl ban, not going this year.
It was also very interesting that LSU self-imposed a bowl ban last year when they indeed would not go to a bowl game. So, hey, can't blame us.
Hey,
we have a bowl ban.
I laugh so hard at this stuff because I think it's all, remember like a couple weeks ago when Rick Barnes and Philip Fulmer put out statements about how Pruitt lied and that it's all Pruitt's fault and whatever, whatever. They put out these statements, and I laugh about it because – like, Tennessee not imposing a bowl ban, Tennessee fans are going to read this and go, yeah! But the reality is, no one cares what Tennessee thinks. Like, Tennessee no one cares what you think about yourself because you aren't the one that gets to decide what punishments you get for cheating. It's like if you got to pick your own punishments in life, they wouldn't be punishments, would they?
Well, a lot of schools self-impose bowl bans.
And you know when they self-impose bowl bans?
When they won't make bowls.
When they're not very good.
But also if that can save them from harsher repercussions in the future.
And I will say this, because everybody was talking about how Tennessee they brought the NCAA in here to help them investigate, and that'll go well for them. My university did that too. We hired a guy by the name of Chuck Smirt, who was the former head of NCAA infractions. We hired him to work with the NCAA. We gave up an NCAA tournament because we felt, even though we were actually kind of good, like we had Donovan Mitchell, like we were good.
Yeah.
And we gave up we accepted a tournament ban, which in a basketball school is everything. We accepted a tournament ban. We brought in this guy from the NCAA. We worked with the NCAA, and they still whacked us. So when I hear Tennessee fans saying, like, hey, we're working with the NCAA, I'm like, guys, that doesn't matter. The way the NCAA punishes is they roll out of bed, and whatever they decide that day is what goes, and then they will defend it to the hill. And it's never going to change.
And
so
there is never going to be consistency.
And if they roll out of bed and decide that Tennessee was paying players at strip clubs with coaches' credit cards or whatever it is, if they decide all of that, then you're going to get whacked. And if that happens, then, well, hey, at least you got to play in the Midas Bowl this year. Way to go. Headlines with Caroline, 615-737-1025. Speaking of Tennessee football, we have a Tennessee-Kentucky game to pick. And I think a lot of people, this is just me, I think a lot of people are picking Tennessee. I think a lot of people believe in Tennessee. We'll get to that coming up next. Fireball Hot Take Friday is presented by Fireball Cinema Whiskey. Nothing goes down so smooth and tastes as great than ice cold Fireball Cinema Whiskey. I absolutely love big celebrations, and you know I got some big ones upcoming, like a big wedding tomorrow again, which means you're going to have to enjoy with ice cold Fireball Cinema Whiskey. Fireball goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There is no better way, none, to ignite the night than with ice cold Fireball Cinema Whiskey. Again, that's Fireball Cinema Whiskey. Please be 21 years or older and celebrate responsibly. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. Cold again tonight, middle 30s for low temperatures. Not quite as chilly as the past few nights. Areas of patchy frost to begin Saturday. Mainly sunny for the afternoon. High temperatures climbing into the low 60s across the board.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
During Lowe's Provember event, new members of their loyalty program get a welcome kit via mail now through November 24th. Lowe's, the new home for pros, U.S. only.
Delta Dental of Tennessee, now offering dental and vision plans. Learn more at deltadentaltn.com.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year, 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Do you have a VA home loan? Don't let the year end without snagging what might be the best rate of your lifetime. Hey, Willie Donick here. Call my friends at Loan Pronto now. They specialize in a VA streamlined loan. You can get a lower rate with no appraisal, no income documentation, and no cash due at signing. Loan Pronto can even cover veterans' closing costs. So call Loan Pronto. Ask about the streamlined loan now. And with sky-high home values, Loan Pronto is also helping veterans get cash out of their home's equity for paying off credit cards, for home improvements like pools and new kitchens. Ask about their refi programs that let veterans access 100% of their home's value. VA loans made easy and fast with Loan Pronto. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost refi.
From curriculum-based literacy programs and sport leagues to college tours and workforce readiness tracks, Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provide a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
Darren McFarland.
And a mulligan that we all look for in golf. Lord knows our game could use it.
Willie Donick.
Outworked and outperformed a lot of other really good players.
Chase McCabe.
I want some sort of trade protection.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on it. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
So is it just me, or does it feel like every college slate this season, except for like maybe one or two, you've looked at the schedule for the weekend and kind of gone,
There's a few good games this weekend. LSU Alabama going to be a real barn burner, real nail biter.
That's a real good game.
Yeah, big time upset in Tuscaloosa.
You know what I did think though, and like using Aaron Rodgers in the vaccine, like there's two arguments that are made, and then like if you believe one or the other, then you make all the arguments that one side makes, or you make the arguments the other, or whatever. And I was thinking about like Nick Wright, who I don't really like very much, but he was on TV on Fox, and he said to everybody out there that says, let's put Alabama against Cincinnati, who would you take? Because most people would take Alabama over Cincinnati. He goes, if Alabama loses this weekend to LSU, let's put Alabama-Cincinnati on the field. Who would you take? People would still probably take Alabama. But if Alabama loses to LSU this weekend, then in no way do they belong in the college football playoff.
No way.
But wouldn't you still take Alabama over Cincinnati heads up?
Probably not.
I think I probably would. It's the same team they are today that people say, well, the reason why I'd put Alabama in over Cincinnati is put Alabama on the field against Cincinnati. Who you taking? Taking Alabama. They lost to LSU. Oh, well, now I don't like them anymore?
No. Well, I never said that I would take
I'm
Alabama.
not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that believe that Alabama deserves to be number 2 and Cincinnati deserves to be like 6.
Well, to those people, if they're saying that now, if Alabama loses to LSU, then they prove that they have a ton of weaknesses, that they aren't able to beat teams even that aren't as good as them. So, I mean, if you think one way and then Alabama loses and you get new information, then I think that you're allowed to change your mind about that.
I know, but the information doesn't factor in that Alabama lost to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is not as good as Notre Dame. I'll just tell you right now.
Probably not, no.
And so this idea that people that say that Alabama should be number 2, well, the eyeball test doesn't. I mean, the reason
eye test hasn't really worked in Alabama's favor in every game they've played.
Alabama hadn't been that good this year, people.
No.
The reason Alabama is number 2 is because they are Alabama. That's why they're number 2. With that, it's time for Caroline's.
Get in on the action. Put the money on the mahogany. What's on tap on the sports books? It's time to break it all down with Caroline's. Here on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline's is brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook for over 25 years. You can sign up at BetUS.com, mention promo code GAME, and get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Primetime CBS game of the week this week, Auburn, Texas A&M. Give me Auburn on the money line, plus 170. Bo Nix getting benched against Georgia State, I think, was the best thing that ever could have happened to him because he's playing the best football of his career right now. They beat Ole Miss last week, 31-20. He completed almost 77% of his passes. Auburn ran for 207 yards on 46 attempts against Ole Miss last week. So not only is Bo Nix getting it done in the air, they can also get it done on the ground. Texas A&M put up huge numbers the past couple of weeks, but it was against Missouri and against South Carolina. Give me Bo Nix over Zach Calzada.
So I guess I'll take A&M here. The only reason I'm going to do this is because I think Auburn is the new, wow, they're pretty good flavor of the week in the SEC. Remember Arkansas? Wow, they're pretty good. Ole Miss, wow,
you drank
the
good. Arkansas Kool-Aid.
I still love that coach. I still think,
and I think the fans should love that coach, too.
I think they are so much better than they used to be. But this is what happens. You win a couple games, it's like, well, okay, all right. Auburn's won a couple games, okay, all right. Florida had won a couple games. You were saying, okay, yeah, right. Then they lost to Kentucky. No, never mind. Not worried about Florida anymore. And Ole Miss, not worried about them anymore. And I think this is the one where you're going to say, not worried about Auburn anymore. So I'll go ahead and take A&M.
Well, I think Auburn still has a legitimate shot to get to Atlanta at the end of the season. So they're playing for
a
more
legitimate shot.
Yeah. Yes. If they beat Texas A&M and they end up beating Alabama, they go to Atlanta.
And they still have to play Georgia.
Well, yeah, but getting to Atlanta and playing Georgia are two different things.
They have to play Georgia before Atlanta.
Do they?
Play Georgia every year.
No, they do they?
Yeah, it's the oldest rivalry in the South.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But I mean, if they lose to Georgia, Georgia's an East game.
Right, but they still is Auburn undefeated in the SEC?
Are they? They might be because they haven't played Alabama yet.
I mean, I don't feel confident. See, this is what I'm saying though about the flavor. Arkansas lost a bunch of games, and so now they're back. They're not back to being Arkansas, but they're just not on our radar anymore. They're going to lose this game. They're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to Alabama. And Auburn's going to be every bit of the 7-5, 8-4 that they look like they have been throughout this season.
Tennessee, Kentucky this weekend as well. So, okay, Kentucky's running back, Chris Rodriguez, has been out of his mind so far this season. He's 775 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns so far in the season. Will Levis is completing about 67% of his passes, 1,500 yards, 14 touchdown passes, but he turns the ball over a lot. Tennessee's offense is incredibly fast. He gave Alabama some issues in the first half when they played Tennessee. Alabama is way more disciplined and a way better team than Kentucky. So I think if Tennessee can trip up Alabama with their speed, they can do it with Kentucky as well. Hendon Hooker has been picked off only twice, throwing 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. Tennessee hasn't lost to Kentucky in back-to-back years since 1976 and 1977. So give me the Vols on the money line.
I'll take Kentucky. What's the spread in this game? I think Kentucky's going to win. They're at home.
It's like a half.
I think you're going to see Kentucky more. This is just me. I think you're going to see Kentucky really upset about the way they played last week against Mississippi State. And I don't care about this stuff that, Tennessee's lost to Vanderbilt more than they've lost to Kentucky over the last 3. I don't care about that because I don't think that really matters in this game. Game's in Lexington. I feel like Tennessee, it's good that they had the bye. I think they're playing okay. I think Kentucky is really not that good of a team, but I do think they're better than they put out last week. I think losing as embarrassingly as they did to Mississippi State was bad for Tennessee. I'll take the Wildcats. Tell us about BetUS.
Also, thank you to our texters. Auburn has already lost to Georgia, so they're still on pace to go. Yeah, we're still on pace to go to Atlanta. Carolines is brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook for over 25 years. You can sign up at BetUS.com. Mention promo code GAME. Get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit.
Chad Withrow, Outkick 360, will join us next. We'll ask him, do you buy the hype that is surrounding Tennessee? Because a lot of Tennessee fans, I don't think they look at Kentucky and take them as seriously as maybe I think they probably should. Probably biggest swing game left on the schedule. We'll ask Chad Withrow that, plus his thoughts on the Titans with Adrian Peterson in and Derrick Henry out. But first, Caroline wants to tell you again how much she loves her friends at BetUS.
I just never get sick of talking about BetUS, and I want to tell you all about my favorite sportsbook, and of course it is BetUS. Football this weekend, we've got a great slate of games both in the NFL and in college, so get in on the action. BetUS has been America's favorite sportsbook for over 25 years, and that's exactly why I endorse them. 25 years is a very long time, so you know that you're getting integrity, longevity, and you know that when you win, that you are going to get paid. Plus, they offer everything. They have live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, all kinds of crazy prop bets. So call BetUS today, and they will walk you through setting up an account. 1-800-79-BET-US is their number. That is 1-800-79-BET-US. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS. Join now, mention promo code GAME, G-A-M-E, and get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. I bet at BetUS, so should you. Go now to BetUS.com, put in promo code GAME for a sign-up bonus on your first deposit.
High in the air, deep left field, and Jorge Soler destroyed it. The Atlanta Braves are 2021 World Series champions.
Swanson to first. The Braves are world champions.
Congrats to Braves fans throughout the South. This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Signs First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Now is the best time to work at Amazon. They are offering higher sign-on bonuses and more hourly pay. On November 6th, Amazon is hosting a hiring event and will be making job offers on the spot for warehouse associates. Please be sure to bring 2 forms of federal identification to help expedite the application process. Come to the Radisson Hotel Nashville Airport Center Drive on November 6th between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. and you could walk away with a new job. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Attention Nashville, 3-Day Blinds is here to solve your window treatment needs. 3-Day Blinds has more than 40 years of experience designing, installing, and manufacturing high-quality custom window treatments. We transform homes with custom blind shade shutters and drapery with expert in-home design consultations. Your 3-Day Blinds design consultant is with you every step of the way, including setting up your installation. Book your free in-home design consultation today at 3dayblinds.com. That's 3dayblinds.com.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 1025 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
1025 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 1025 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Fireball Hot Take Friday. You know, when we got this going and we were talking around with Chad Withrow about being a part of the show on a weekly basis, I was like, I think this is a good idea. I know Chad's talent as a radio host. I know, the insight that he brings. And I knew that he was missed on Nashville radio. But it wasn't until this week that I realized just how much Chad Withrow and Paul Kaharski and Jonathan Hutton have been missed on Nashville radio. But apparently it's a lot. So, Chad, always good to have you on the program. And a lot of college football and NFL, but I just wanted to say that I'm glad that you're on this show because clearly the market misses you.
Well, Jared, I am glad to be on this show. And this is maybe some weird acoustics here in my hotel room in Tuscaloosa, but I'm glad you mentioned that because I did want to open the show by congratulating you, Caroline, Ian, Ryan Porth, everyone at 1025 The Game, because I saw some indications recently that you guys are growing your audience, and there is a gap that has closed that I've never seen before in the city of Nashville in sports talk radio. So you guys should be commended. I'm a very small part of this show. Happy to be a part of it. Happy to join you guys every Friday, but you guys are doing the good work. So kudos to you. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you. He said that, though, not me. But I do want to start on this because you guys are in Tuscaloosa, outkick the tailgate tomorrow morning. Tennessee, Kentucky. I think this might be the biggest game in the SEC this week. I know it's not the CBS game. I know it's not the game you guys are at, and I understand that. But this feels like a really big game for Josh Heupel in Tennessee. It feels like the last remaining swing game. Kentucky, the last couple of years, over the last 6 years, Kentucky's had a better program for the last 6 years. But I almost wonder, okay, is this the moment that history gives into itself and Tennessee takes it back in Lexington? What do you make kind of the respect that Kentucky is due and the situation that surrounds this game against Tennessee?
Well, so first off, it's so great not to be ruled by, the governance of radio at times. So that was fun to be able to congratulate you guys like that. Here's what I'll say about Tennessee and Kentucky. You're right. Kentucky has been the better program the last 5 or 6 years. Tennessee has still won 33 out of 36 in this series. Kentucky has not won back-to-back games in this series since 1976-77. Even with the worst decade in Tennessee football history, or one of the worst decades in Tennessee football history, it's still 7 out of 10 for Tennessee in this series. So there's a lot of reasons for Tennessee and this program to go into this game with a lot of confidence. Now, we all saw a year ago Jarrett Garantano wet the bed, and Tennessee lost 34-7 in Neyland Stadium, and that's what we remember about these two teams. But Tennessee and their players talked about it, Alontae Taylor and others, that, look, you come to Tennessee, you expect to beat Kentucky, and that was embarrassing a year ago to lose that way and watch them celebrate in Neyland Stadium. So I do think a lot's on the line. I'm with you, Jared. I think this has a chance to maybe be – it's not the biggest game. I honestly think the game I'm at this weekend's not even the biggest game with Alabama LSU. It's Auburn and Texas A&M. That's the biggest game. This could be the best game of the weekend between these two teams. Tennessee fans should absolutely be nervous about this game. I think it's such a big game, though, Jared, for both teams in terms of how they define success this season. If Kentucky goes out there and loses to Josh Heupel in year one with Mark Stoops and all that he's built at Kentucky in this magical year where they may lose only 1 or 2 games, you're thinking, for a bulk of the season, and they get their third loss to Tennessee in Josh Heupel's first year, that's not good. A possible great season goes to just a good season. For Tennessee and Josh Heupel, if they lose this game, they'll probably go 6-6. That's a nice year. That's a good year. That's an encouraging year. But their best win is what? At Missouri, South Carolina at home at that point. So this is a chance for Tennessee and Josh Heupel to go from good to great with their season. 7-5 at Tennessee this year, beating a top 20 team on the road at Kentucky. That's a great season. So I think in a lot of ways this game is going to define either good or great for either one of these teams this season. So, yeah, there's a lot riding on it. And I think there's reasons for both sides to be optimistic. But if you're a Tennessee fan and you think Tennessee's just going to roll up there and win easily, I don't think that's going to be the case.
So I grew up a Vanderbilt fan, and the one thing about Kentucky was that was the one game almost every year I thought, okay, maybe Vanderbilt can win this SEC game because that's how bad Kentucky was. And Mark Stoops inherited a mess. You're a Tennessee fan that remembers just counting a Kentucky win every year before the game was even played. How much respect do you have for this Kentucky team and what Mark Stoops has this year?
I have a ton of, first off, just let's start with Mark Stoops. I have a ton of respect for Mark Stoops and what he's built at Kentucky. I think he's done an incredible job with that program. Kentucky this year, it's strange. I've got a lot of respect for the win over Florida. I got a lot of respect for them dominating LSU the way they did. I watched the game against South Carolina that they win 16-10. I don't think much of Kentucky. I watched the fact that they had to steal victory from the jaws of defeat against Chattanooga, and I don't have a lot of great thoughts about Kentucky. I watched them struggle and turn it over and win by 7 against Missouri, and I don't have a lot of great things to say about Kentucky. I watched them a week ago against Mississippi State. Not a lot of good to be said about that performance either. So it all depends which week you're watching Kentucky this season. I think they're a good team. I think they are molded in the image of Mark Stoops, hard-nosed, good on both lines of scrimmage. I think they're beat up coming to this game also. Kentucky right now is Tennessee from a few weeks ago, where Hendon Hooker wasn't 100%. Their offensive line was a piecemeal offensive line. Tylen Evans, their best player on offense, couldn't play. That's sort of Kentucky in this game. Chris Rodriguez is questionable, maybe doubtful. They've got 2 defensive linemen that start that are out. They've got a linebacker that's probably going to be out. So Kentucky's sort of limping into this game right now. So it's really tough to know what to make of them. And remember when all that hype was going on about Liam Cohen and Will Levis and how great that offense looked in the first couple of weeks, and they're throwing it around now. Well, they've got the second worst passing offense in the SEC now, 1 spot ahead of Vanderbilt. So that's also gone away. Tennessee's been good against the run. I think if they can stop Kentucky in the run game and stop Will Levis from running, which has been Tennessee's biggest problem is the quarterback running, I think Tennessee's got a good shot to win and win going away in this game. But again, that's not what I'm predicting. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere for a night game up in Lexington. And I just really think it's going to be close. So Tennessee fans should be nervous, but Kentucky fans should be nervous also.
I think it's amazing. Chad Withers, I think it's amazing that Mark Stoops has rebuilt Kentucky into like a respectable SEC program without having completed a single forward pass in 10 years. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life, where there's absolutely no quarterback play year in and year out. What did you think of Cincinnati being left out of the initial rankings and Alabama at number 2?
It was pretty amazing when Eddie Gran was running the single wing the last 2 years, and Kentucky was still winning games. I think the message is clear from the committee. You don't belong. I mean, I don't know if you could say anything any louder or make a more authoritative statement than Cincinnati does not have a chance and no group of 5 team has a chance. If you don't put them in the first ranking and at least give the thought out there that maybe they'll have a chance and allow those teams in bigger conferences to win their way with big wins ahead of Cincinnati, when you put them at 6th to start, after ending a 26-game home winning streak for Notre Dame and winning on the road, there's no Group of 5 team that has a chance. The committee has said that this is a tournament for Power 5 programs. Cincinnati is not welcome. It's a cute story in the eyes of the College Football Playoff Committee, but they have no chance. That, to me, that's the message when you put Cincinnati at 6. I think it's wrong. I think Cincinnati deserves a shot. I think they should at least be in the first rankings top 4. But the fact they're at 6 and you got teams behind them that could win their way up, I think it's wrong. And I think that, again, the message is clear. They don't belong.
Do you think that message is the wrong message? Because I think there's a chance that one of the best 4 teams in college football, maybe it's not Cincinnati, but I think in any given year, I think one of the best 4 teams in college football can be outside the Power 5.
I think the message is absolutely wrong. Look, I think Cincinnati should be in there. What's the point in having this playoff? What's the point of considering Group of 5 schools FBS if Cincinnati, who had – and look, this should not factor in, but I'm going to factor it in because Bama fans and people that write about Bama are going to factor it in. Cincinnati was really good a year ago. They played Georgia down to the wire in a bowl game. They're not just some flash-in-the-pan program under Luke Fickell. They've done this now consistently. They deserve to be in the top 4 because when you make the argument that Alabama should not be at number 2 right now with a loss to Texas A&M, Bama people will come back and say, oh, so you're telling me the team that's won this many national titles and been in this many playoffs doesn't belong or shouldn't be number 2? You can't factor in the past. You can't factor in the future and what you think about a team. We all watch the games. We know who has talent. We know who's going to have more NFL draft picks. We see the recruiting rankings. That cannot factor in. I've argued with this about people for a long time. It has to be about the body of work. It has to be about your games, what your team has done in those games in 2021, in this season, how badly they've beaten teams, and look at the key wins they have. That's it. We all know that Alabama is probably better than Cincinnati. We certainly know they're more talented than Cincinnati. That doesn't mean that we should put Alabama ahead of Cincinnati because we believe that they would beat Cincinnati in the playoff. At least to me, that's not how it should work. That's not how a meritocracy works. It's not about what I think. It's not about what you think. It's about what's been done to this point in the season, and Cincinnati has done enough.
Chad Withrow with us, Outkick 360. I agree with everything you just said right there. Coming up next, Derrick Henry and the Derrick Henry return. Adam Schefter is convinced that Derrick Henry's not coming back this year. What do we make of that? Because we had Stefania Bell, who says at ESPN that says 6 weeks before you have any idea. I heard the pro football injury doc, the former team doc of the Chargers, on with Chad on Outkick 360. What do we make of this? You know, Schefter thinks he's done for the year. We'll get to that coming up next with Chad Withrow and the Titans on Sunday Night Football as well. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. They're proud supporters of the Vols and Vanderbilt and the Nashville Predators. Hiller, my guys, they take great care of my home. Anytime there's an issue with my home, Hiller comes right through, fixes it, and I never have to call anybody else out. That's why they have the satisfaction guarantee. Happy you'll be, or the service is free, because they know you'll be happy. That's the job they do. You've noticed all the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere, and now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. If you need a replacement, call my friends at Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options. Hiller has special financing available, so buy now and pay nothing until next year. Their work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or services free guarantee. Learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
This is a sight that Tennessee fans don't want to see. Derrick Henry, right cleat is off, down on their sideline.
Can Ryan Tannehill and the Titans rally without King Henry? Or will their hot streak come to an end against the Rams?
Their team now. They have to step up and do even more. Now, whether they can do that with the way this team's built, the way this offense is designed, time will tell.
Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans-Rams. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Are you having Thanksgiving at your house but have no furniture and have no clue where to go? Well, Social Furniture is here to help you get your home ready for hosting your family's Thanksgiving dinner with their great dining room sets. Social Furniture is locally owned and save up to 70% on all furniture that will have your family begging to stay. They have sofas, sectionals with chase lounge, and recliners that are all push-button, electric, and wall away. They have all colors to choose from, and for your comfort, all of them are plus leather, microfiber, and Chanel's. Let Social Furniture help you celebrate your Thanksgiving with hundreds of furniture to choose from and save up to 70%. There's no waiting, and take home your new holiday furniture today or with their same-day fine furniture delivery. That's right, Social Furniture has same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social. On the web at mysocialfurniture.com.
Genesis Diamond's biggest and final sale of the year is here this weekend. It's an incredible event with savings of 20, 25, even up to 35% store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, nothing's held back for this once-a-year 3-day extravaganza. Acclaimed designers are here with expanded collections and extraordinary pricing. Plus, get 0% interest financing. The final store-wide sale of the year with discounts up to 35% this Friday, Saturday, and yes, open Sunday for this great event. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
When Genesis Diamonds has a sale, you know it's the real deal, and it's happening this weekend. Our final store-wide sale of the year with deep discounts up to 35% off. This is the big one. The one where the staff knows they can break all the rules. Plus, the selection is nearly doubled with designers here from LA and New York with their entire collections, all of it on sale. This is the last and best jewelry buying opportunity of the year. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear Conti-Tech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE. 615-895-HOSE.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Chad Withrow, Outkick 360 with us, presented by Apple Collision Centers. Mark Howard's guys, Apple Collision Centers. And boy, I will say this, a lot of people out there probably miss Chad Withrow and Mark Howard right now, but that's just me. Chad Withrow with us. Derrick Henry out. So, as soon as Derrick Henry went out, everyone wanted to know what for. Adam Schefter tweeted out that he was feared out for the season. Then we had Stephania Bell, ESPN injury analyst, who said, hey, it's going to take 6 weeks before they even know what the deal with Derrick Henry is. I listened to you guys on Outkick 360, Chad, and Pro Football Doc, the former team doc of the Chargers, was on, and he said that in 10 weeks or so, Derrick should be good to go. And then yesterday, Teron Davenport told us on the show that Adam Schefter believes Derrick Henry is out for the year, and TD thinks Schefter's sources are within the Titans organization. What do we make of that?
Well, first off, what I make of it is I miss Mark Howard too, but I'm glad I get to hear him on with you guys and on your Sunday pregame show as well. On Derrick Henry, so the argument with Derrick Henry that we would always make about him not getting injured and about him not having wear and tear like the normal running back is that Derrick Henry is not the normal running back. We would come back and say, maybe this guy's just different. Why? Because he is different. He's 6'4", he's 260 pounds. He runs 21 miles per hour. He's different than other running backs in the league. So maybe he doesn't get injured like normal humans. Well, now we know that that's false, that he is human and he can get injured also. And this injury shows that. Now, on the optimistic side, if you're a Titans fan, you say, if you're going to apply the same logic that he's different and different being better in this circumstance, then maybe he could come back and play in the playoffs. I just don't see it, having talked to Pro Football Doc, which you referenced, Jared. I think that this is one where, could he come back at 60, 70% for a playoff game and try to be, not a decoy, but basically what he was in Indianapolis on Sunday? A guy who might get you 70, 80 yards and can be a threat to the defense and play action. He maybe could do that. And Derrick Henry seems like such a team guy that he would try to do that and force the issue if possible. But I keep thinking, if you're Derrick Henry, don't you just get completely healthy and make sure you're 100% for next year instead of trying to come back at less than 100%? Even if some of the reports are right and he could come back in 6 or 7 weeks and try to play in playoff games, do you do that if you're not 100% back? I don't know the answer. That's up for Derrick Henry to decide. He seems like a guy who would try to play. I just don't see it. I think everyone that advises him, his agent, family, everyone else is probably going to tell him, look, this team is going to go to the playoffs. They're going to win the division. You can sit it out. Don't come back and rush back at 65, 70%. Get completely healed and come back and be the Derrick Henry that we've known the last 2 or 3 years for the Titans. That's, to me, what's going to happen at the end of the day.
So maybe you're right. Maybe I'm hoping the other. I just think that if it's up to Derrick, I think Derrick's going to play. Like, even if Derrick's at 65%, just the Derrick that I feel like I know, that Derrick Henry's going to go out there and play. He played on a broken foot last Sunday. That 4th and 1 on the broken foot might be one of the most impressive things that he's done as the Titans running back, which is obviously saying something. I guess when I listened to your interview with Pro Football Doc, I came away from that saying he's coming back. And I think you bring up a good point. I just kind of feel like there are certain guys who will make a business decision. Like Garrett Cole, before he went into free agency, told the Astros, Game 7 of the World Series, I don't think that's good for me on 3 days rest. I don't think Derrick is a business decision guy, though, Chad.
I'm not calling it a business decision per se. A business decision is more of Marcus Mariota, I think, in what happened at the end of the regular season. This is more of if I'm 60%, right? If I'm 65%, you're right. If Derrick Henry feels like he is better than any other option at 60%, let's say, he will play, and he will do that. My point is, if I'm advising Derrick Henry, I'm probably telling him to come back next year. Now, people might come back and say, well, Chad, you're not guaranteed anything next year. You don't know what's going to happen in the division. You don't know what's going to happen with the roster or the team. I understand all of that. Just knowing that this is typically a 8 to 12 week injury, and that's what you come back from. I just don't see it. I would love to see it. I'd love to see him at 100% in 6 weeks. And Pro Football Doc even said, it's also, we're talking about a guy and the way he plays the running back position at 6'4", 265, that you better be really healed to be able to go back and be effective the way he wants to be effective. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I just don't see it. I don't see Derrick Henry playing again in 2021. But again, going back to what I said in the beginning, if you believe Derrick Henry is just different, that gives you reason for optimism that he will be back.
Chad Withrow is our guest. What do you think of the Titans' chances at the Rams on Sunday without Derrick Henry and with Adrian Peterson, Jeremy McNichols, and Deontay Foreman?
Here is my message to all Titans fans. Do not overreact about this loss, because I just don't see a way that they can beat the Rams with what they have right now. And a big part of that is the fact that they have to rediscover who they are on offense. I think the defense, 13th in the league right now in third down defense after a historically awful third down defense a year ago, that's been encouraging. Offensively, though, now, and the Titans have some wiggle room in this division, they've got to start to figure out what is the right pass run percentage, what is the right formations, what's the right personnel, what's the right percentage of carries by these new running backs. They've got to kind of ease into that and figure it out. I'm not saying this is a 3 or 4 week process. I'm just saying the Titans fans need to give this Titans team a little bit of time to figure it out. And going to LA to play this Rams team is not a great time to figure it out on the fly. I'm not expecting good things Sunday night. I think the Titans lose. I think they lose fairly big in this game. But I'm also advising Titans fans, don't just assume well, this is the Titans now without Derrick Henry. This team sucks. They're not going anywhere. That's not the case. This is game one with them figuring out life after Derrick Henry. So give that process a little bit of time. I just don't think there's any way they can be a fully formed model of what they're going to be offensively moving forward in this first game without Henry.
I was at the Braves-Marlins game, the one Braves game I went to this year before the World Series. I was at a Braves-Marlins game in Miami, and I was telling the person I was at the game with, who's a Titans fan, that Ronald Acuna was the Braves' Derrick Henry. And 2 innings later, Ronald Acuna tore his ACL. And at that point in July, I was like, this season is over. Like, the Braves are done for. Obviously, this week they won the World Series. Do you think the Titans can figure it out between now and the playoffs? Because I think they're going to win the division. Figure it out between now and the playoffs and still make a run at it without Derrick Henry?
Well, Jared, first off, congrats on going to a World Series game. That's awesome. You and I are both Braves fans. So I would be foolish to say there's no chance for the Titans, having just witnessed what we witnessed with our Braves this season. Mm-hmm. I don't see it right now. I think they were starting to round into that team with Derrick Henry that could go to a Super Bowl. I'm not seeing it. But to go back to the Braves, I didn't see it when they made the trade for Jock Peterson, and them and the Cubs were virtually the same record. The Washington Nationals were, 2 games behind them in the division at that point? And I'm thinking, why on earth is Alex Anthopoulos and the Braves buying right now? Why are they buyers? Why are they not sellers? They were buyers. They loaded up. Every single trade hit, and they went on and won a World Series. So this is a good lesson about sports and what we think and what actually happens. I was dead wrong about that. Anthopoulos was so right about it. Braves won a World Series. I may be dead wrong about this right now, but I don't see any way the Titans can become that Super Bowl team again without Derrick Henry. This is a team that loses their first playoff game. They win a division, they lose their first playoff game.
Do you think Adrian Peterson has anything left?
No, I don't. I think we saw Adrian Peterson a year ago, right, with Detroit when he was in Nashville. Do you remember even worrying about Adrian Peterson at all in that game, or did we all forget that Adrian Peterson was still playing leading into that game with Detroit? Look, I think Adrian Peterson could be a small little piece in what they're doing moving forward, but Adrian Peterson is not going to make a difference for this Titans team to any great extent.
Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. Check him out there. Outkick the Tailgate live from LSU and Alabama tomorrow morning across the Outkick Network, presented by Apple Collision Centers. Chad, appreciate you. We'll talk next week.
Hey, congrats again, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. And I got to say this. I have wondered for years. Floyd and I used to wait. Like, we would sit there and wait on the days that we figured that we were going to have to compete on a daily basis, you know, at this level with Chad and Paul and Hutton. And for some reason, it never happened. And I guess I'm just a little thankful that never happened. So, you know, there you go. Coming up next, Chad says no chance for the fans on Sunday. The Titan fans, don't overreact. I actually agree. But could this be the Mike Vrabel special? We will discuss that coming up next. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. NFL Week 9 continues on Sunday, and FanDuel wants you to get the most out of every single play. That's why they're giving everybody a $10 risk-free bet every week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Titans and Rams, you heard what Chad said right there about the Rams. I think it's going to be too soon for the Titans to overcome the issue with Derrick Henry out. So I think I would probably lean towards overs with some of the Rams and maybe unders with some of the Titans. FanDuel Sportsbook has fast payouts, so get your winnings in as little as 2 hours. It's easy to use, it's safe and secure, and it's America's #1 sportsbook app. There is no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. New to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code JGM to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on either team to win during Sunday afternoon's matchup between Green Bay and Kansas City. Win $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code JGM so they know that I sent you. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Titans, Rams. The two-tone blue seeks a victory without King Henry on Sunday Night Football.
The closest you will ever see to a running back carrying a franchise.
Tune in Sunday at 5 on ESPN 94.9 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Brentwood. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The WAVE technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Dierks Bentley. Beers on Me Tour 2022. Friday, February 25th, Bridgestone Arena. And he's bringing along special guests, Jordan Davis. And Lainey Wilson. Dierks Bentley, live in concert. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com.
Christmas shopping starts now at Electronic Express. Get huge savings on the hottest gifts with up to 50% off in every department. 4K TVs, computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, and more. That's not all. Get up to 50% off all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. We've got what you need this Christmas at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey is the official whiskey of the NFL pregame broadcast on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Screwball is the original and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. Made with real whiskey, peanuts, and peanut butter, Screwball is all natural flavor to be enjoyed as a straight shot, in an espresso martini, peanut butter old fashioned, or a PB&J shot with a berry liqueur. Check out screwballwhiskey.com/recipes for more. Be sure and ask for Screwball by name at your favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Enjoy responsibly. 2021 Screwball Spirits LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
This Sunday.
They opened the gates and the boys came out.
The boys in gold wrap up their regular season at Nissan Stadium when Nashville SC hosts New York City FC. Coverage begins at 2:15
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Mike, with as much empty sets as the Rams like to run, what does that kind of put? What kind of strain does that put on the defense?
Well, you have to cover the entire field. I think he's such a, Stafford's such an excellent distributor that when you pressure him, he knows where to go with the ball. They mix in quick game, they mix in drop back. They'll chip to gain some extra time with guys on the edges. Everybody can go in any of those spots across the field. So whether there's a running back at number 1 or a tight end or a receiver at number 3, they all run the same route. Whatever route they call, they go out there and they line up in different spots. So, it does put a lot of challenge, defensively to make sure that we get lined up, execute, and try to affect the quarterback.
That was Mike Vrabel on Stafford and the Rams. They've got all the names. The Rams are building for a Super Bowl this year because it's in their building. Stafford, paid a fortune for him. Stafford, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey. They got all the names. Titans have probably 1 or 2 names, and the one name they have, obviously, Derrick Henry's out.
Well, they have names.
And he's out.
Julio Jones, Adrian Peterson, those are names.
Yeah, okay.
Those are names. A.J. Brown.
That's like the Braves going out and getting Mike Piazza to play catcher. Like, this is Piazza. It's King Griffey Jr. You know what he's there. So, let's be honest. Chad Withrow just said it. I don't think the Titans have much of a chance here. I mean, when you look at it, based upon everything the Titans have been through, and as Dan Dockich in Indianapolis said today, that if the Titans win this game on Sunday, it'll be the greatest 4-game stretch in the history of the NFL. Now, I don't know what other teams have done in 4-game stretches in the NFL, but I got to believe it's pretty hard to do better than to knock off the number one betting team odds-wise for the AFC, the defending AFC champions, your closest divisional rival, and maybe the best team in the NFC, all in a 4-week period. And to do it without Derrick Henry in this game. It was crazy enough to do it with Derrick Henry with a broken foot last game. Crazy to do it with Derrick Henry this game. But there's one thing that we know about Mike Vrabel. And even though you have not been here very often, or have not been here very long, I think you now know the real effects of the Mike Vrabel special. That is, in fact, a thing. That when you look at the Titans and you look at the other team, and you're like, there is no way in hell that the Titans can win this game. That is usually a game that Mike Vrabel's Titans win.
It has happened 3 times so far this season.
Seattle,
Buffalo, Kansas City.
Kansas City wasn't so much a special. Like, we knew Kansas City.
Kansas City was on the down low, yes. But that was still a game that I didn't think that the Titans necessarily were going to win, especially not by that much. I think that was part of the Mike Vrabel special. It wasn't just Titans win by a field goal, Titans win by a touchdown. It was a beatdown of the Kansas City Chiefs. But I've also seen the Mike Vrabel special work the other way.
Which is the downside of the Vrabel special, which
yes.
we should be scared about. With a Texans, Jags, Dolphins, 49ers left on the schedule, I think we probably should worry about the Titans losing one of those games, because that's the downside of the Mike Vrabel special.
It goes both ways.
But the good side is these kind of games. Now, I'll also say this. Sunday Night Football 2018 against the Colts. Win and you're in, lose and you're out. Marcus Mariota hurt, Blaine Gabbert in. And I didn't think the Titans had a chance to win that game. When I saw Mariota out, because I think we did a show at the Music City Bowl. Like, we did the Music City Bowl postgame show, and then we did like an hour after the Music City Bowl talking about the Colts game. And I remember thinking the Titans weren't going to win even with Marcus, but I thought they had a chance. When I saw Adam Schefter report that morning, Mariota out, I thought, oh, God, no shot. And Floyd tried, he put on that face about, hey, Blaine can make every throw that Marcus would make and whatnot. But I kind of knew in my heart they weren't going to win. And I picked against them, and I didn't see a way that they could win. And they lost. And I do wonder if this is the equivalent of that. That Derrick Henry is so important to that team that the Mike Vrabel special, which they always seem to pull off, and this would be maybe the pinnacle of the Vrabel special, the week after losing Derrick Henry, that it would be too hard to overcome that loss against a team like this.
I mean, the Mike Vrabel special, I think that Buffalo was the Mike Vrabel special through and through. But there were so many things working in the Titans' favor. Monday Night Football at home. Obviously, a healthy Derrick Henry helps you more than we could even describe to say.
Bills had just smoked Kansas City on Sunday Night Football.
Smoked Kansas City, riding high. There are so many factors working against the Titans. Derrick Henry hurt is one of them. You're going across the country to Los Angeles to play the Rams, a team that's been incredibly hot this season. There are a lot of things working against the Titans. Asking for a Mike Vrabel special, and I'm not going to say we're expecting it. I'm not going to count it out as a possibility, but this would be a Vrabel special of all Vrabel specials of epic proportions. When the conversation surrounding the Titans, both in Nashville and nationally, has been, is the Titan season over? And there have been legitimate arguments to say, yes, it could be. I mean, there are a lot of things working against the Titans.
What % chance you give the Titans to pull the Vrabel special?
Like 10?
Ian, what % chance do you give the Titans to pull the Vrabel special?
I'd say 10 sounds about right, maybe 15 at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if, sometimes there are even things that prayer can't help. And I wonder if even this is asking too much of the Vrabel special, given how stacked the Rams are.
Rams seem a little.
The Rams are.
They seem a little banged up too. I don't think they're as banged up as the Titans, but I don't think they're just rolling at a hundo.
So I don't think Von Miller's going to play. I think the other thing too about the Rams that hasn't been discussed enough is they've got one good win this season. They beat Tampa Bay at home by 10. Other than that, every game they played is against the Bears or some bad team, and they lost to Arizona by 17 at home.
Yep.
So they haven't had your schedule now.
Yeah. Jags on the schedule later this season. Let's see.
They've had the Colts. They beat the Colts. They beat the Bears. They beat the
Bears.
The Giants.
Seattle, the Giants, the
Detroit.
Lions, Texans.
I mean, that's the crappiest of the crap.
But they handled them very easily. Like, they weren't even games, So
but
at least
to
they're
your
handling
point,
their business.
Remember before they played Buffalo, and I was like, Buffalo in their last 4 games has outscored opponents 123-16. And then it's like, yeah, because they played Carolina, the Texans, and the Lions. It was kind of like,
And the Rams did narrowly beat the Colts. It was in September, so I don't know how much stake we want to put in that, but the Rams beat the Colts 27-24.
I did watch that game while we were doing the pregame show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a back-and-forth game. Wentz got hurt at the very end in a 3-point game.
That's
and
right.
Jacob Eason had to come in, and
That's
Eason
right.
threw a pick, and that was that. So, 6-pack picks are next, plus Predators game day at the end of the show as well. Big Preds game tonight. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game. Hey, let's give away a pair of tickets because I'm in a good mood. Be caller 5 right now at 615-737-1025. That's our phone number, 615-737-1025, and you'll win a pair of tickets to see DaBaby at Municipal Auditorium on Wednesday, January 19th. Good luck for that. 6-pack picks are next.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. Cold again tonight, middle 30s for low temperatures. Not quite as chilly as the past few nights. Areas of patchy frost to begin Saturday. Mainly sunny for the afternoon. High temperatures climbing into the low 60s across the board.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body, and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curation CBD. Curation means healing, and that right there says it all. Curation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets, too. Order yours now at CurationCompany.com. Curation CBD, curated for life.
Saturday means college football, so put on your game face, then grab an ice-cold Dos Equis. Dos Equis tastes light, finishes clean, and will never let you down. Like a friend that defected to your rival team. Pick up a pack wherever you buy beer, and not nearly enough snacks. Dos Equis, a proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fansville, a college football utopia. Fansville. Where the lakes are stocked with ice-cold Dr. Pepper, and the autumn winds rustle with the sweet smell of football glory. And Dr. Pepper. It's a land flowing with onion dip, where even the food pyramid is shaped like a hot dog. Footlong. Where every yard gained is a yard worth celebrating, and every celebration is beyond excessive. With ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Return to glory this season with Fansville by Dr. Pepper. Grab some today.
Robbie Stanley.
Maybe it doesn't hurt their bottom line this year. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen on that front.
Joe Rexrode.
5 guys who are on the roster are not going to be on the roster.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Time to get on with it. Time to pick some game. 6-pack picks presented by Pella Windows and Doors. Ian, how did we do last week?
Okay, last week, Jared, continuing the 3-3 kind of momentum here. Caroline,
Jeff Fisher.
Caroline 1-5. So.
Oh no!
For the
who's Jeff Fisher now?
Well, you're Jeff Fisher.
My record's pretty good. What's
I'm
my record?
Urban Meyer.
Okay, so our season records are now Jared stands at 26-21-1. Caroline is now at 18-29-1.
We're one bad week from having to kick Caroline off the show and bring in Michelle because she is
Michelle's been killing it.
Killing it on the morning show. So bring her in here to take Caroline's place
That's
I can get a
fine.
little competition. Let's get to it, Ian.
Okay, game number 1 this week will be noon, CBS. The Browns going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Over-under on this game is at 47. Cincinnati -2.5. Who's first, Jared?
I will go first. I will take Cincinnati. I think Baker is hurt. I think the turmoil in Cleveland is too much. I think Cincinnati's going to play their butts off after getting embarrassed by the Jets. I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati too. I think that everything surrounding the Browns this week is all negative, and it's everything that's not about this game. So I just think their heads are going to be elsewhere. And I agree with Jared that the Bengals are going to be pissed after that loss to the Jets. So give me the Bengals.
Okay, moving over to Fox. Also noon, Fox. Vikings at the Ravens, our game of the week right here on the station. Over under 50. Baltimore -6.
This is kind of a tricky one, but I am going to take Baltimore. I mean, Minnesota is just really bad this year. Baltimore is a little bit banged up, but I still think they're able to take care of Minnesota. Minnesota's still without Patrick Peterson. So I think that this Baltimore offense will have a heyday without him.
I'll take Minnesota. I actually think Minnesota's going to win the game. I think Baltimore is going to get exposed here down the stretch. I think that they are really banged up. I think they are so dependent upon Lamar. And I think against good defensive coaches, they will find a way to neutralize Jackson. I think Baltimore's in for some losses. I think the AFC North is a total pick'em right now outside of Cleveland. I'm going to take Minnesota to win on the road, but I'll definitely take my 6.5.
Okay, continuing on Fox, 325. Packers. No Aaron Rodgers this week at the Chiefs. 325. Over-under on this game is at 48. Kansas City, -7.5.
7.5?
That's nuts.
I got to take Green Bay plus 7.5. And I don't know anything about Jordan Love.
That is nuts.
Kansas City sucks. Like, we watched them on Monday Night Football. They suck. I thought this game was going to be like 1 or 2 points, and then I was like, I think Kansas City might win. 7.5, Green Bay, and I'm going to hate myself for this pick. Give me Jordan Love and the Packers.
This is a tough one because it felt like such a slam dunk. It should have been Green Bay -14.5. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Kansas City sucks.
Kansas City is so bad. They almost lost to the Giants. I think I'm not going to take Kansas City minus the 7.5, but I am going to take Kansas City just to win outright. Because I think that this team has way too much talent. They got exposed against the Giants. If they're going to have a comeback game this season, it's going to be against Jordan Love. So I am going to take Kansas City to win, but not minus the 7.5.
Okay, another game on Fox, 325. Cardinals at the 49ers. Over-under on this game, 45. San Francisco, minus 2.5.
San Francisco's favorite against Cardinals?
That is correct.
What?
Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals on this one.
San Francisco sucks. Arizona doesn't. Cardinals.
I think Hopkins and Murray are both questionable.
Kyler missed practice this week. Yeah.
Cole, get in there. You're still going to be the 49ers suck.
49ers are bad.
Suck. Arizona.
I'm taking Arizona's too. I feel like that's a gimme.
Okay, Monday Night Football this week, 7:15, ESPN. Bears at the Steelers. Over-under on this game.
Such a gross game.
So low on this game. 39 for the over-under. Pittsburgh. minus 6.5.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I mean, they've looked so much better as of late in the past couple 2 or 3 weeks. I was not high on Pittsburgh going into this season, but I mean, with a rookie quarterback, I think Pittsburgh gets this done and gets it done handedly by a touchdown.
I'll take Chicago. I think that Chicago will keep it close. I think the Fields kid will be a lot for the Pittsburgh defense, and I just don't think Pittsburgh scores enough points to win by a touchdown. So I'll take Chicago. And I think Chicago stinks. I also am not really sold on the Steelers. I know they beat the Browns, but I'm not a huge believer.
An injured Baker Mayfield Browns.
Yeah, I'm not a huge believer in Pittsburgh right now, so I'll go ahead and take Chicago.
All right, I feel like we should have been using this music a lot more this week, considering it's the Sunday Night Football. However, Titans at the Rams, 7:20 NBC. Over-under on this game, pretty high, 53. But we have Rams minus a touchdown, 7.
I'm taking the Rams minus 7. I mean, not having Derrick Henry, a long road trip, it's going to be a lot for the Titans to make up for. And the Rams are stacked. They're writing their resume to get into the Super Bowl. I'm taking the Rams.
I'm going to take the Rams, too. I think I'll go Rams 28, Titans 20, so that they'll cover the 7. I just don't think the Titans have the firepower. I think truly in order to beat the Rams, you need a really good game out of Tannehill. I think you're going to get an okay game out of Tannehill. I just think the injuries, the road trip, the exhaustion of the last 3 weeks, I think the Titans need, they're going to...
The adjustment without Derrick Henry.
They're going to get their butts kicked this week, and then it'll turn it around, and the Saints...
But that's okay if they get their butts kicked.
I think everyone's okay with that. Six-Pack Picks brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. 9 o'clock tonight, it's time for a little Predators game day.
It's Hockey Night in Smashville.
Deflects back for Duchesne. His shot stopped, and the score!
What are the keys to victory tonight? What's being said in the locker room? Where do the Preds reside in the Central Division standings? Jared Stillman has the latest now with Preds Game Day on Stillman and Company. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. This is Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Predators game day tonight, 9 o'clock, right here, ESPN 102.5 The Game at Vancouver. John Hines on Playing the Canucks.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. I mean, they're good on special teams. They have talent. Goaltender plays well. So, it's something we talk with our group about is, we're back, again, the 500 on the road trip and 500 with our record, and we expect to be better than that. So, I think we had a good day off yesterday. I think we took some good lessons out of the Edmonton-Calgary games, and I liked, our energy today at practice. We had a good meeting, so, we need to make sure we're ready to go.
Predators are 5-5-0, good for 10 points. 3-3-0 at home. 2-2-0 on the road. Exactly 500. Meanwhile, Vancouver 4-5-1, good for 9 points. Interesting game tonight, Predators and Vancouver. That's going to do it for us. We are out of here. Money Line comes your way next, followed by, I guess, ESPN Radio, then the pregame show, then the game tonight at 9 o'clock. We will see you for the pregame show Sunday, 5 o'clock from the Corner Pub in Brentwood.